Don.
Where do we stand on sus?
Hahn.
It's lame. It needs Viagra.
And Rosenberg.
I'm going to lift my shirt up, take my pants down, and shake it all around. This isn't North Dakota. This is New York.
This is Don, Hahn, and Rosenberg on 880 ESPN and the ESPN New York app.
301 of the big city. Don, Hahn, and Rosenberg with you till 6:30. Then it's Rangers hockey, Rangers and Sabres, as the postmortem continues on not just last night's Yankee game, but another Yankee season without a championship, 16 consecutive now, second longest streak in franchise history, and the most since not winning from 1978 to 1996. And we're here for you. 1-800-919-3776. I'm here for my partner, Alan Hahn, who went through it. But I can't say that it's really any different. I'd like to change the topic of where we go different to what Michael had and what Bart and Carlin had and what, Rick and Dave had this morning, or what we've been saying, Alan, for the 15 previous ends to their season. It comes up short again, and in this one a lot shorter. Last year you lived with it because it was the World Series, and you were upset by the way they played that Game 5 in the fifth inning, but against an opener, facing elimination, they had 2 hits going into the eighth inning, Alan. So it's the same song and dance. We can blame the pitching, which was awful. We can blame the bullpen, which was not good. But they died last night because they couldn't hit a bullpen that they thrashed the night before. How do you make that make sense?
It doesn't. It's just, but it's this. It looks the same all the time. But how did my hey, I'm sensing a little magic. Had that age. Not good, Bob.
Well, it ages the way magic ages.
It just.
Oh, no, you nailed it yesterday.
I felt like something was brewing, and then it just flopped.
But all magic, I don't care who you are. Was it Chris Angel? Whoever. Any of the great magicians, you want to go back in time, right? At some point, you figure it out. Like, it comes out somewhere that, hey, it's magic. It's a trick. Mm-hmm. All right? It can be diagnosed. One of my favorite shows is the Penn and Teller Fool Us, where comedians come on and Penn and Teller 9 times out of 10 figure it out. And if they don't figure out the trick, that magician gets to be in Vegas with them. Like, that's the prize. They get a trophy, and they're going to be on the show in Vegas. Because eventually magic gets figured out. That's what I was saying about the Mets all the time. When you're pulling magic out of your hat, eventually somebody's going to, you know what, the rabbit's coming up through the bottom of the hat. There's an opening, or the ball stuck behind his fingers, or, the card's rigged in some way, is that you can't rely on it. And the magic that kept them alive for a day, the reality that has been the New York Yankees for 2 decades now in the postseason going on, is the inability to hit when they desperately need to. And now you can't blame Judge.
Well, no,
now you got to take Judge out of the equation, right? He batted 500.
He really had a good
series. And how happy were you as a Yankee fan or a Judge fan?
That his last at-bat?
That his last at-bat was what it was. Because I'm like, what's going to happen? He's going to be the last out, and everybody's going to say, see, I told you. No, he scored. He almost puts the ball through the left field wall so much that it's just a single, trying to keep him alive, and then it's Bellinger that makes the last. I was happy for him that he ended up, batting 500, driving in another run, because I'm like, I don't need him to strike out looking, and now all the Yankee fans to blame him because he is blameless in this.
I just want to know why each year it always feels like some years you have a run and you're like, boy, they got everything they could out of that team. Why is it now in 9 of 10 years that all 9 times didn't feel like they squeezed as much as they could out of the team? They just ran into a better team and you just kind of tip your cap. Because there are years that happens. Why is it that it always feels like, how could they flop in the biggest moment? How could they be shut down so easily in the biggest moment? Why does it always grind to a halt when they need to just get themselves a win? Last year in the World Series, yes, they got to a World Series, but how did it look when they got there? They looked overmatched. Yep. It looked like, wait a minute, like they looked terrible. That's the part I think that's most frustrating. And here's the problem. they're going to change the players because they do all the time. And there's a lot of free agents. There's decisions to make. We all know that part. They're going to change the players. They're not going to change the manager. And they're not going to change the general manager.
Right.
And that's the most important part to me, is the general manager. This is the way he wants to play. And so everyone that continues to talk about how frustrating the Yankees are to watch at times and how a bullpen that they owned, 12 runs that they scored against them in 12 innings earlier in the series, now all of a sudden they can get 2 hits. That's the part that you ask yourself, like, what are they doing wrong as an organization? Because if you keep changing out the players and you get the same result, eventually it's no longer blame the players.
Right.
Eventually maybe it's just the way they play or how they prepare. Because the one thing I noticed, although Schlittler, the kid was the best pitcher they had in the playoffs.
Right.
But even he wasn't the same in this. They didn't have his number, but they got to him right away. Why did the Blue Jays seem to know everything they needed to know about the Yankee starters, but the Yankees had no idea what to do against the Blue Jays? Why is that? Why did they look unprepared and overmatched at times throughout this series to a point where it was almost comical how the Blue Jays were able to score at will, except for in one game? That's the stuff that I wonder about. So I don't want to hear about players. I don't want to hear about – we're going to hear about Volpe. We're going to hear about Judge. We're going to hear about Jazz. We're going to hear about Wells, that terrible at-bat. Don't talk about the players. That's not your first target. The first target, because they changed the players out, is the guy who says, this is how we're going to play. It doesn't work when we get to October. It doesn't work to a point where you win a championship, and it never gets you to say, boy, they got everything they could out of that team. They just ran into a better team. That never happens.
Well, I tell you what, do you know the last time it happened, Alan?
Don't say 2017, because that team got cheated.
But that's the last time it happened, where a Yankee team overachieved, and you said, wow, I didn't see that coming. And what happened? Joe Girardi lost his job.
Interesting.
Since then, the statement was, we can do better.
Yeah.
We need somebody better, so they bring in Boone.
Yeah.
And this is not a referendum on Boone, because we know what it's about.
No, don't blame
It's
Boone.
that they build a team for 162.
And they build a team to play a certain way.
Right.
Just this way. And they insist it works.
And they insist it works because the only way analytics work is over a large sample size. So you take the large sample size and you apply what you are. The largest sample size in any season is the regular season. It's 162 games. But once you get to a best of 3, a best of 5, a best of 7, the sample size is a lot smaller.
Yes.
And they clearly aren't built for the postseason. The other thing that should aggravate you even more than that is that for the last 2 seasons, and you could debate me if you want, 1-800-919-3776, but I don't believe I'm wrong. They ended up losing to a better team. Blue Jays are a better team. It was proven during the regular season when you played them. It was proven during this series. You really got blown out. If not for Aaron Judge single-handedly winning the game earlier in the week, you probably get swept. All right? The Blue Jays are better. Last year, the Dodgers were better. Sorry, I know that inning was bad. They're better. Why are there teams that are always better than the Yankees? The Astros, they were better than the Yankees. All right, cheating helped in 2017. We don't know for a fact they cheated in 2019, but the fact is the Astros were better. The Blue Jays, better. The Dodgers, better. So why, when you have not made any changes, you continue to do it the same way all the time, saying this is the way that works, then why every so often is somebody always better than you? Why? When you've got a $100 million payroll higher than the Toronto Blue Jays. Why are the Blue Jays better? Why? I understand why the Dodgers are better. They spend $75 million more than the Yankees do. That I get. But why were the Astros better? It couldn't have all been cheating because in the last game in 2017, they scored 1 run. All right?
They always seem to have the cheat code to shut you down.
Somebody is always better than you.
Yes.
Why?
And the part that doesn't make sense to me, like, again, just looking at this year, I don't want to go macro view. The only macro view I'm giving you is the fact that it's the same system, it's different players. At some point, you've got to realize that it's time to stop blaming the players. But beyond that, Judge even said it. This year's team was better than last year's team. They were deeper, better defensively, right? They did lose Cole. That would have been huge to have
but
him.
they got better.
I
think the Caballero acquisition.
By the time they got to October, they were a better team than they
I
were
believe
last
at
year.
the deadline.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have said that if they didn't make those deals. But getting McMahon to play third, because they didn't go into the season with a third baseman. Caballero, I thought, was a nice addition.
They didn't go into the season with a real closer either.
Right.
They found that out quickly.
Right. And Bednar was good.
Yeah.
So I think you're right. By the time we got to the playoffs, I think they were a better team than they were last year.
And that's what Judge said. Judge said last night in the clubhouse that he believed that the team, because he said we finally started to figure it out late in the season. We hit our stride. We were waiting for it all year, and it finally started to click. And he was feeling good. He thought they were going to win the whole thing. You could see it in his eyes. Mm-hmm. He thought this was it. And he got himself locked in, thinking, I'm going to make sure that I'm not the reason why not. And then it all went to hell because they ran into a team that couldn't wait to play them. Another team, by the way, that took it personal. This is why I don't want to hear from anybody about the Yankee standard doesn't exist. Oh, you guys as fans hold them to a higher standard than anybody else does. Baloney. You know why? Why is it that when teams beat the Yankees, they celebrate like it's the biggest win of the season for them? Why does it matter so much to some of these teams when they knock off the Yankees? Why did the Dodgers? Now, they won the World Series, but boy, did they carry on. A little extra about New York. They play Sinatra now, almost mocking the Yankees. Why do you think they do that? Because it is different. It hits different when you beat the Yankees. Well, so it still matters, which tells you still very much reside in all the heads of every other team in this league. They want to beat you. But this team, as I told you going into this series, especially, it was personal for this group to win this series. And that's what you saw in their preparation. Forget about everything else. They had guys that played great. Guerrero was phenomenal. But I'm telling you, they were ready for this series, and they ambushed the Yankees in Toronto before they even knew what hit them. The series was over. 23 runs you gave up in 2 games. Over. They were going to have to climb back, and it was going to be very difficult to do. But what I can't believe is the game you lost was the one against a team – they didn't even start a pitcher. They went with their bullpen, and they set it up the way they knew you were going to set your lineup up. It's like they had an answer for every single guy. Every time Schneider went to the bullpen, it was the right matchup for the next guy coming up.
Had it all figured out.
It was unreal.
Well, they used
chestnut checkers. So why are they? It's like Cashman talks so much about numbers. Why is your math not mathin'? Why is their math better than yours? Every year, there's always somebody that knows how to shut you down. There's a team that just knows this is what we'll do to them and watch us squelch that league-leading offense. Every year, one of the best offenses in the league, and every year you run into one team that just goes, oh, we know how to turn that water off. And they do.
They do.
How is that?
Well, that's why I kept telling you yesterday when you talk about the standard, right? And you're not wrong about the standard, but again, the advantages aren't there anymore because there's other teams that got better analytics than you.
But that shouldn't exist.
They do it better. But it does.
Wait a minute.
That's the point.
It's not the same. This franchise is the highest valued baseball franchise.
Right.
Highest. They have the highest value. They have a great income. They have lots of resources. The best of the best. Steinbrenner way.
Yeah.
Right?
But you still need the right people in place.
But you don't have that's why every year if I could ever sit down with Hal Steinbrenner, the question nobody ever asks him that I would love to ask is it's not fair that you get criticized when you have one of the highest payrolls every year. But my question is, never mind how much you're spending, is it being spent wisely? Are you getting bang for your buck writing this gigantic payroll check year after year? Are you getting value for your money? His answer has to be no.
Well, they brought in, if you remember, that whole audit, which everybody said was blown out of proportion a couple of years ago. But the idea of the audit was bring in somebody to analyze their analytics and figure out if it works. And they were told, no, good. Everything looks great.
Yeah,
clean bill of health.
Mm-hmm.
So if the analytics work, which I never understood, if everybody does it, well, not everybody can win, right? So obviously some people could do it better. Some players are better. And that also has to be factored in, too. Are you bringing in winning players? Are you bringing in players that are good over 162, but once the light shines brighter, we've talked about Yankee Stadium is different, all right? Yankee Stadium is different when they put the bunting up. It's different in October, okay? Mm-hmm. It's a pretty cool place to play in May, but, man, it's another planet come October. Do you bring in the right people? Listen, Max Fried is a hell of a pitcher, and he won a World Series in Atlanta, and he is going to be given the American League Cy Young Award possibly in the next couple of weeks. But is he suited to be a Yankee when his knees were knocking in Toronto at the beginning of the series?
Well, never mind. Just all
right.
you have to do is look at his playoff performance overall for his career.
Hey,
Think about this. In 8 years of playing in playoff games, his ERA is 5.31.
Right. But, that's the crapshoot time.
22 games he's played now in the playoffs. This is not a guy that's new to it.
Right, but that's the crapshoot time because they always talk about the 162 and the playoffs are a crapshoot. But are you bringing in guys that can handle New York? Because I don't think Devin Williams can handle New York.
But yet he looked good.
Do you bring in guys that can do well in the postseason? I don't know. Doesn't look like it because I see the best offense in baseball that hit the most home runs in baseball get shut down too many times. Too many times. How many home runs did they hit in this series? How many meaningful home runs did they hit in the postseason?
4.
So, come on.
4 in the series.
But over 162, it's aces. You're winning 90-plus games. You're going to the playoffs every year. You're breaking records for home runs, runs scored.
And you think about it, 2 in the game 3.
So, are you built for the postseason, or is the postseason something that you even consider? Because if every decision's about winning your division, every decision's about what's good for the 162, and if the playoffs are just, hey, it's a crapshoot, well, then are you building a team that's equipped to go out there and play? Because I saw a Blue Jays team, and I disrespected them. I said, I'll see it when I believe it, because this team never seems to win in a big spot.
You're right.
They looked prepared and ready to go out there and ball, and they did. So that's the difference, all right? Milwaukee, they go to the playoffs. They had the best record in baseball. All right, they lost yesterday, but they smoked Chicago the first 2 games. Dodgers, same thing, 4 straight wins in the postseason after they played with their food during the regular season. Those teams seem prepared. Now, the Dodgers, I get it. They're the one team outside the Mets that had a higher payroll than the Yankees, but it can't always be about the money. It can't always be about the analytics. Are you bringing in the right guys that can handle wearing those pinstripes? What do you always say? They're heavier than other uniforms, right?
It is.
And you come in here, and New York is different. It hits different.
Or, again, is the approach the wrong way?
Well, the approach is the wrong way because the approach is the right way in the regular season, but it doesn't translate to the postseason.
Because it's the regular season.
Because you know why? Here's the difference. I'm going to tell you right now before we get to the phone calls. It's the thing that we always harp on Brian Cashman saying. It's not about World Series. It's not about championships. It's about a championship. It's about championships, right? Now, the Giants go out there and they win in 2010. They win in 2012. They win in 2014. But you know what happened in between? Not making the playoffs, not being very good. The Red Sox, they'll win a championship, then lose 100 games, then turn around and win another championship. They don't want to do that. They don't want to ever look and say, this is the year. Sink it in. And if it means 2016 suffers, be damned, because we want to win the World Series this year. They don't think that way. It's the long haul, the wide angle lens of, hey, don't sacrifice next year for this year because we want to be good in 26 and be good in 27. So are they pushing the right buttons to say, the hell with 26, I want to win now? Because Aaron Judge is going to be 34 next year and Cole's getting older. I want to win now. I'll worry about 26 when 26 comes. I'll worry about 27 when 27 comes. That's what the Giants thought. That's what the Dodgers thought. That's what the Royals thought back in the day. The Royals are suffering for some of the decisions that they made, but they saw a chance to win the World Series, and they took it. I'm not saying you got to be like the Marlins in 97 and 03 where you hemorrhage money from the eyes to win the championship. Yankees don't have to worry about that. It's just say, you know what? This is special. It's been 16 years. Enough. Let's win. Oh, but Hal, Brian, Aaron, that could hurt you in 26. We're all day to day. The planet might fold in half by next year. Let's win now. Is that maybe the difference? That they'll have to start thinking more in the now than worrying about the future?
About salary caps.
Oh, if the salary cap ever hit this sport, the Yankees would be in big time trouble. Because now everybody would be on equal footing.
I'm telling you, it's to me. There's just and I've said that I'm almost getting sick of doing this because it feels like the same bit every year. But the problem is that it's the first thing I think about because it's something that you see, and I can't stand it because you watch a team and you just see, okay, there it is again, and you know that the underbelly, the weakness part of it, the Achilles heel of whatever the strategy is, whatever that game plan is, you always know. All right, well, when it gets exposed, it's ugly. Because, like, the Yankees looked meager. That was an elimination game at home. And they looked like they couldn't touch anything that was – they had no idea it was coming, confused by some of these at-bats. Like I said, that Wells at-bat was – the guy can't throw a strike, and you're going first pitch? You're swinging first pitch. Come on, man.
And maybe the philosophy changes this way. Because I've been listening today.
It's killing me.
We got to hold on to Dominguez. He's a Martian. What's he doing?
He got one at bat.
Right, he got one at bat. Finally, they pinched hit.
He got a double.
They finally pinched hit for Volpe.
Volpe
finally
couldn't see the
hold
ball.
on to Volpe. We can't go out and get an established shortstop. Volpe's coming. We can't go out and get an outfielder because we've got Dominguez and we've got Spencer Jones. Well, Dominguez is up, never plays. Spencer Jones is going to turn 30 and still be a Somerset Patriot. Those are the things I'm talking about, is that maybe you ship these guys out to get the guys that can win now. Instead of holding on to my precious prospects. And what happens? When do they ever, outside of Judge, when did they come to fruition? Cam, they seem to step in it. But otherwise, you got all these guys. Lombard Jr., is he going to play? Let's get him up here. Let's get him to play. All right, pull the plug on Volpe if he's not the right guy. Make the decision. I know you put a lot into the kid, and he seems like a really good kid. But it doesn't look like he's got it. He had 11 strikeouts in this series. And you held on to him like grim death when you could have went out and got a legitimate shortstop in free agency, but you didn't want to landlock him. And now he's here, and he's not getting the job done. These are the things that I'm saying is that maybe you've got to think about the now instead of the precious toys in the future that either don't work out and you don't win with, because the fans don't care about how high your prospects are rated. The fans don't care about who's down in Somerset or who's down in Scranton. They want to win a championship. And you know what? I'm getting tired of hearing about the championships. Got to get the first one. Mm-hmm. And you've got the wherewithal to pivot if for some reason you do ship guys out that turn out to be stars someplace else. So what? Get the ring. That's the philosophy that has to change, Alan. Start living in the now instead of a future.
But it's not going to.
No, it's not. And that's the frustrating thing. It's not going to change.
Looking at everything, right? And we're going to. By the way, we're going commercial free with calls today.
Good.
I feel like this is the day to do it. We'll get one more segment in, then we'll get a break. Then we'll get 3:45. We'll take call. I really feel like this is the day. Let them rip. Got to let them rip. Because I know I want to.
Yeah. Well, listen, we got it off our chest.
Over the hour, go through the 4 o'clock hour and into the 4 o'clock hour. We'll go with calls. So load them up now and get going. This was something we talked about a lot. Extra inning games, 6 and 8. They would struggle so much with extra inning games when you get a runner on second. Like little things like that. Those are the types of things that concern me. Those bothered me. And everybody that talks about what's got to change, and they talk about players changing, and I'm telling you, nothing changes because it's the same freaking system every year.
Line it up. 1-800-919-3776. We've got a big show today. Take up until 6:30. Then it's Rangers hockey, and because MSG is going to have their first Ranger game. Their first game was on ESPN. Kenny Albert's going to join us at 5:45.
Love Kenny.
To preview that. And he is the new television voice of the New York Rangers. And Damian Woody, his weekly spot at 5:30. We'll talk to him as well. Don, Hahn, and Rosenberg with you till 6:30 here on ESPN New York.
To help those who want to be helped but may not be able to afford it.
That's what PGA Tour winner Grayson Murray had envisioned for a foundation before he sadly took his own life at just 30 years old. His parents channeled their grief into creating the Grayson Murray Foundation, carrying out his vision to help those struggling with mental health and addiction. To donate and learn more, visit GraysonMurrayFoundation.com.
1-877 Cards for Kids. KARS Cards for Kids. 1-877 Cards for Kids. Donate your card today.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877-CARS for kids. Donate your car today.
Ready to get rid of that old car? Donate it to Cars for Kids. Call 1-877-CARS-FOR-KIDS to reach a friendly live agent. Donation's super easy, and your car can be picked up as soon as tomorrow. Call us now, 1-877-CARS-FOR-KIDS. That's Cars with a K to donate your car today.
1-877-CARS for kids. Donate your car today.
Did you know you can donate real estate too? Go to carsforkids.org. That's carsforkids.org.
Score a win this game day with Amazon Pickup, the MVP of package pickup. Need that new football jersey for the big matchup? With Amazon Pickup, you can collect your order from secure Amazon lockers or counters near you on your schedule. Whether you're running from work or home or straight to the tailgate, Amazon Pickup makes it easy and worry-free at no extra cost. Don't miss kickoff. Grab your gear and your packages when it works for you. Find your nearest Amazon Pickup location at amazon.com/pickupmvp. That's amazon.com/pickupmvp.
You know so much about who you are. But do you know what makes your body your body? With over 100 lab tests and insights, Function can help you know the truth. Because you know you're made of grit, wit, and a good heart. But just how healthy is that heart? You know you're made up of all the places you've called home. You know you're made of your mom's sarcasm. And now you can find out if you have her thyroid too. You know you're made of college all-nighters and 30s early-nighters, but those still don't explain your sleep issues. You know that you're made up of good meals with even better conversation. But are you actually absorbing those nutrients? A Function membership gives you a comprehensive health check with results tracked over time. Find out what you're made of at functionhealth.com.
Just printed from the Erie Canal Press, the most coveted ticket, New York Lottery's $1 million raffle, hath arrived. 15 fortunate souls shall come into the fortune of a millionaire.
Translation, the $1 million raffle is here, and 15 winners are going to become millionaires. The New York Lottery commemorates 200 years of the Erie Canal with your best odds of winning $1 million. Limited tickets available. Ask your local retailer today. Please pay responsibly. Must be 18 plus. Gambling problem? Call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY.
And now let's take a look at the traffic with Brandy Scott.
Thanks a million, guys. Good afternoon. If you're heading over to the outbound Lincoln, stay away from the West Side Highway northbound. Everything's shut down by West 42nd with a big collision. Traffic is stopped from West Houston Street on up, using 9th and 11th, just about a 10 to 15-minute ride. Outbound Hahn already close to 20 to 30. Heading over to the outbound George, looking good on the West Side Highway and southbound Deegan. Inbound George, still have some road work on the upper deck and already about 15 to 20 minutes. Over in Jersey, Giants are home tonight at MetLife Stadium. Parking lots opened up a little while ago. So far, no big delays on the western spur heading into the Meadowlands. Route 4 westbound crawling into Hackensack, a big crash by Hackensack Avenue. This report is sponsored by the New York City Department of Transportation. Speeding ruins lives. Drivers, watch out for pedestrians and cyclists and slow your turns to less than 5 miles an hour. I'm Brandy Scott on 880 ESPN New York.
This college football moment is brought to you by ServPro.
College football teams have moments they recovered from and made it like it never even happened. Like on September 24, 2016, when Tulsa found themselves down 31-0 to Fresno State. With 10 minutes left in the second quarter, Tulsa fought back to tie the game at 41. And then won 48-41 in double overtime.
ServPro, like it never even happened.
Coach Saban here, and let me tell you, every second matters. Preparation is everything, and that's why I trust Kidde Smoke Alarms.
And as North America's #1 home fire safety brand, they're built to respond over 25% faster to smoke detection. Kidde helps protect what matters the most. Find it at the Home Depot. How doers get more done. #1 claim based on total household installations as of December 2023. 29% faster average smoke detection based on internal testing of smoldering wood fires for Kidde 9th edition versus leading competitor 8th edition products.
Game Time is brought to you by Tullamore Dew Irish Whiskey, because when it's game time, Alan,
it's Tully time.
Rangers visit the Sabres with coverage immediately following us right here on 880 at 6:30. Islanders open up their season against the Penguins at 7, and the Devils are in Carolina to face the Hurricanes at 7:30. Now, that game is on ESPN+. That's why I'm not in Carolina.
It sucks.
And I appreciate all the well-wishers. Got a great voicemail from John Sterling earlier today. I just didn't have the heart to call him back and say, no, it's not till Saturday. Michael texted me, like, no, not till Saturday. But I get it. I understand the schedule. But and the Giants play host to the Eagles on Thursday Night Football at 8:15. And the Knicks have a preseason game. That's why Allen looks all spiffy against the T-Wolves at 7:30. So we got a full – this is a nice therapy day to pivot away from the Yankees if you're a Yankee fan. Tullamore Dew, the original triple distilled, triple blended, and triple cast matured Irish whiskey. Be sure to grab a Tullamore Dew or try the new Tullamore Dew Honey during today's action. Glasses up to enjoying Tullamore Dew responsibly. Let it begin at 1-800-919-3776. And it begins with Jimmy in Connecticut. You're on ESPN New York. What's up, man?
I am sick to my stomach today, but I'm going to try to articulate my point in the calmest way possible.
Go ahead.
The Yankees are a solid organization. They win 90-plus games a year. They sell a lot of seats in that ballpark, and I'm sure as a business owner, Hal Steinbrenner sees a ton of value in that. And I understand that. You know, he's a business owner. He's trying to make money. But the bottom line is every year they're good, but not good enough. And change does not always work. Let's call it what it is. But I feel like you can't sell to your fan base year after year that you can change nothing and you're going to get a different result. The Knicks just fired Tom Thibodeau after an Eastern Conference final appearance. The Rangers have done it a couple of times, too, shortly after conference final appearances. And look, time will tell if those moves work. But when you're not good enough, you have to change something. I just don't understand the arrogance. I love the Yankees, but it drives me crazy.
That's the exact line. When you're not good enough, you have to change something. And you talked about the arrogance. And I truly believe it's become a defiance more than anything else. Instead of accepting the fact that, you know what, we probably got to change things up. It's no, we'll show them.
But
show them.
But to me, and this isn't even really about defending Aaron Boone, the manager.
No.
Is that letting go of Boone would just be cosmetic. I agree. Because they'd bring in the same guy. No. They'd be defiant.
No, there's one guy.
They'd throw you chum.
There's one guy, Don. There's one guy.
Right, Brian Cashman.
The only way it changes is if we remove the wizard, the man behind the curtain.
Yeah.
You got to remove. That's the only way you get real change, where suddenly somebody else comes in and says, I got a way we're going to do. It's going to be different. The fans are going to love it.
And I don't think that's going to happen.
It's never going to happen.
It's not going to happen.
Because he's too successful. You can't do it.
Well, because they define success differently.
Yeah.
To where they're going to say, how are we doing? Printing money. Playoffs every year. All right, Toronto got us. We'll get him next year.
Do we have him from last night, by the way?
Brian?
Yeah. No, okay.
Do not have Brian.
I thought they caught him with a couple of comments. All right, never mind.
But he'll say, and then Hal will say it too. Yeah, we're gonna reevaluate, take a look at it. We're not going to tolerate it. This is not what this is about. And yet, if the philosophy doesn't change,
well, don't you
then
think
nothing else matters.
Should there not at least be a strong statement, not just the typical, well, every year we want to win a championship, and when we don't, we do feel like we didn't reach our goal, but,
Here's what I would
I don't want to hear some just monotone rambling about how back to work will go and the old college try crap. Your fan base is frustrated by this.
That's why I thought the audit was a reason for Yankee fans to get excited, because then somebody would say, all right, they're at least looking from within. And then they came out and doubled down. Hey, this is exactly how it's supposed to be run. Because maybe they feel that is the way it's supposed to be run. Because if I were to ask Hal and Brian, if I gave you the opportunity to win the championship in 2026, but those decisions
will cost you
would
27?
make you a 500 or below team in 27, would you do it? And I bet you they'd say no. And if that's the case,
because you can't guarantee a championship, but you can guarantee just being good every year.
Right, and they figure, listen, eventually we'll get there, because if it's a crapshoot, but Michael had a great point. But if it's a crapshoot, then when does your time come up?
Why does it always have to be crap?
Right? There's got to be some time where, and listen, you went to the World Series or whatever, and I guess they must be satisfied with that, because there's no changes being made. You brought up that. I think that Thibodeau's a bad example, because Thibodeau just wasn't a fit. But Pete DeBoer was an example in Dallas. Hey, you keep going to the conference final and losing, man. We're not satisfied with that. And they fired DeBoer because they said we want to do better.
Get over the top, right?
Thibodeau was more of a, I think a philosophy difference in all that.
I think a lot of it just like it ran its course.
There were some things, but this hasn't ran its course.
But you understand, like, here's the difference. The Knicks are going to look like a different team with the same players.
Right.
Mike Brown's going to play differently. So when you change the coach, you change the style, you change the look because they felt like, okay, that style, we just couldn't get over the hump. We've got to try something different.
Mm-hmm.
The problem with the Yankees is they're going to change the players but play the same way.
Play the same way. And that's the thing that's frustrating is that
because it always looks the same. It's different people, but it's the same thing. It looks the same.
Well, think about it. Think about the turnover because you go back to 2017 when they went to Game 7 against the Astros. Judge is the only player left from that team. So that's how much it turns over. In less than a decade, everybody's pretty much gone. New guys come in. But it's the same philosophy, and if the philosophy doesn't change, then the result doesn't change. Patrick and Mayapack, you're on ESPN New York.
Good afternoon, gentlemen. Obviously, calling about the Yankees, get right into it. You'll hear a lot today that our team might have been better on paper, and we should have gone farther. But unfortunately, the game's played on dirt and grass. Our 1 and 2 pitchers go out there, completely wet the bed, and we got a rookie come in and try to save their butts. After the Red Sox game, Schlittler went to the media and said that's what he expected. We heard other teams and even our fans mock him for that swagger, but that's what we need. Alan has a great point with the way this team's built. The players go out there and over 162, they'll finish above 500, make the playoffs, but we need more dogs. We need killers. Look at the Dodgers. Kike Hernandez, career 200 hitter, OPS 700. In the postseason, that ticks up 60 and 180 points respectively. Trent Grisham is a 160 career batter in the postseason. What are we expecting from these guys to do? Yes, they'll finish above 500 in the regular season, but then when it comes time to bear down and work in the postseason, they just cannot do it.
You keep changing, but, we keep focusing on players. Now, Grisham, you didn't know what he was in the postseason because, he wasn't a main guy until this year, and he became that, and his numbers were great, but in the postseason, not so great. So the problem is, and again, it was a well-thought-out point, but we keep focusing on players, and all we keep saying is we got to get players that do this, and we got to get players that do that, and I'm telling you, maybe sometimes the players come here and they get into the playing a certain way, and it's like, I don't like doing this.
But I give you examples about how New York is different and how the postseason is different. They went out and traded for Devin Williams.
Yeah.
To be their closer.
Yeah, they needed a closer.
All right? Turned out he was able to pick himself up and wasn't completely damaged.
As a setup guy.
As a setup guy. Why did he fail as a closer? He didn't have the stomach for it.
No.
But how do you not root that out? Because you just looked at the numbers, and the numbers say this guy's an excellent closer. But could he handle New York? Could he handle the media? Could he handle all the fans booing him when he failed? The answer was no, and they took him out of that pressure situation, and he did better. They didn't vet that properly. You mentioned Max Fried. Well, Max Fried, they gave an 8-year contract to. Why? Because his regular season numbers are stellar, and he was great in the regular season. But you just showed over a 5 earner an average in the postseason. Why didn't that factor in when you gave him an 8-year deal?
Mm-hmm.
Because you're going to need him to pitch in the postseason because you're trying to win a championship.
He was going to be your number 2.
You only looked at, look at his regular season numbers because that's all you care about. Because the analytics don't work in the postseason because the sample size is too small. Because you're not going up against 8 different pitchers where the other team's doing everything they can to win the game. This is not May against the Diamondbacks who are 10 games under 500 and don't care. This is the playoffs. It's a different animal. Get people in here that can handle New York. Get people that can handle pressure. But they don't believe in pressure. They don't believe in clutch. They don't believe in hot. They just believe in the numbers. 162.
What's amazing, Don, is that if they don't win the championship next year, it will match the drought from 78, that 78 World Series, until 96. They'll match it in length. The difference is this current team has been good enough and fails. That team had new managers every 6 months. Had all kinds of
bad. They didn't make it because they were bad.
Absolute disaster of a franchise.
They weren't good enough.
Right? So think about it. They were a disaster of a franchise. Poorly run, constantly firing managers, trading players, all the things that they did from 79 to 95. All the stuff that went on. The owner ended up getting banned from baseball. All that stuff. Embarrassing. And this has been a run where they've been good enough every year and can't get through. Wouldn't you rather say, Yeah, you didn't win a championship in 18 years. Well, because it was a disaster. You had to clean the mess, right? There's no mess. They're just not good enough. Whatever it is. So that's why the player thing. They're a stable franchise that doesn't have the, you know what, to get over the top. Whatever it is,
but
they don't have it because they can't make that tough decision to say this way's wrong, or we've got to change it up.
Or
Let's just stay with it because it's safe.
If I bring in those dogs, if I bring in the guys with cubes, if I bring in the hustlers and the bangers in the postseason, could it hurt my chances of making the playoffs in the regular season? Because let's face it, Alan, that's not the way the game's played in the regular season, right? Because not all the games have the same meaning.
How'd the Blue Jays do? Pretty good, right?
They did great, but
pitching. How'd they do it?
Where'd they finish last year?
I know, they were last place.
They were last place last year.
They were underwhelming
right?
last year.
And
Springer
don't be surprised
year.
if next year they finish 500.
Oh, of course.
Right? That's the way it works. See, that's what I'm saying. They don't want to do that.
Well,
you could give them the formula. They know everything that you're saying. They're listening to us right now, and they're laughing, going, they think we're failing. We're winning.
Then the real Yankee way is dead. It's dead.
Dude, it is dead.
Dead.
Because no heads roll. No heads are going to roll. Nobody's going to be held accountable for this. You know what they're going to get? They're going to get raises. They're going to get bonuses. Good job, guys. Great. The promotion. The guy that with the when there's 2 strikes. Good job. We love that. The whale sound is great.
It's from Star Wars.
It's a whale sound.
It's not a whale sound.
Well, that's what it is to me because I'm not a geek.
It's not a whale sound. No. It's right before.
Well, you know, your
the
operational Death Star looks more like the end of the first Star Wars than it does later on.
If you knew what it was, Don, you'd actually laugh at what it actually meant.
what it actually is for. But it's funny because both Death Stars were blown up in the last minute by a smaller little army that should have, the little engine that could. Isn't that kind of
by a dog?
Perfect.
Got blown because Luke Skywalker was a postseason player. He was a dog.
That's right.
These stormtroopers, they're all analytic regular season guys.
Yeah.
You need a Chewbacca. You need a Han Solo.
Yeah, hell yeah, you
do. These guys come to play in the regular season. Regular season. I don't care about the regular season. You saw.
Just get me to October. I'll get us home.
Right. What was Han's ship?
The Millennium Falcon.
Millennium Falcon. It was a piece of garbage, right? It barely could get from place to place, but when they needed it, it got done.
Did he call it a piece of garbage?
It wasn't good. Come on. I know enough about Star Wars that wasn't well.
Tell him about the Kessel Run. Pick a piece of garbage. How dare you?
What was it? What was it? I can't think of what it was. Carceps. What is it?
Parsecs.
You're just too, dude. The fact that you have the sex life that you have with all this knowledge is amazing. But
you gotta have something to watch
it was a rickety old. They weren't sure. Didn't have enough gas. They're putting $5 of gas to get from place to place. But you know what? When it meant it got it done.
You got to put something on afterwards, right?
Right. But meanwhile, you got this operational Death Star, 162 games, can't do it. All of a sudden, the postseason, what it gets folded in half. Come on.
You know
I'm right.
It's such a great point, though. Both times they built this thing, and both times they got blown up.
It got blown up
by some
busher, the mucker and grinder in the corners getting the job done.
Nerf herder.
Right. Exactly.
Ugh.
They march in single file to hide their numbers. 1-800-919-37.
Let's go commercial free. Let's take the call.
We're going to do it. We're going to keep taking the phone calls. Coming up next, Don, Hahn, and Rosenberg, ESPN New York.
A dime dropped right down the chimney by Justin Fields to Garrett Wilson, and the Jets have the lead. Be at MetLife Stadium for the Jets and the Panthers on Sunday, October 19th at 1 p.m., presented by JetBlue. Get to the game early and secure the game giveaway, a JetBlue Jets plane magnet while supplies last. Lock in your seats now at nyjets.com/tickets. Once again, that's nyjets.com/tickets.
Is college even worth it these days? At Empire State University, it actually is. They are SUNY's leading online university. Flexible, affordable, and built for real life. With more than 120 degree programs, you can study what matters most to you. And students agree. They're ranked #1 in student satisfaction among SUNY schools. Whether you are finishing what you started or starting fresh, your goals are within reach. See for yourself. Visit SUNYEmpire.edu before the next term begins.
Some people just know you can save money on car insurance by checking Allstate first.
Like, to check if they're going for it on 4th down before going to the concession stand.
Yeah, give me 3 hot dogs, 2 jumbo touchdown, baby! What?
Hey, buddy, you want cheese with those?
Yeah, checking first is smart.
No.
So check Allstate first and see what you could save. You're in good hands with Allstate.
Potential savings vary, including based on how you buy, subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Allstate North American Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
What if you could instantly find whatever you need exactly when you need it? We're talking everything from parking spots to holiday gifts to the perfect shoes in your size. Think of all the time you'd save. While you may never instantly find these things, if you're hiring, you can find qualified candidates right away. With ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter's powerful matching technology works fast to find top talent, and their advanced resume database lets you unlock top candidates' contact info instantly. Try it free at ZipRecruiter.com/sports. That's ZipRecruiter.com/sports. Your fantasy roster is set. The Smack Talk is heating up, and this season, ESPN Bet is giving you more ways to ride with your squad. Introducing the ESPN Bet Fan Center, where you can instantly link and bet on your fantasy teams right in the ESPN Bet app. An enhanced sports betting experience only from ESPN Bet, the sports book for sports fans. Make the connection today with ESPN Bet Fan Center and the ESPN Fantasy app. ESPN Bet Sportsbook. Download the app today. Must be 21 plus. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details.
Coach Saban here. On the field or on your walls, coverage matters. That's why I go with Behr Marquee Interior Paint and Primer from the Home Depot.
Exceptional hide, advanced stain blocking, and over 1,000 colors to choose from. Behr Marquee delivers one-coat coverage that stands up to real life. One-coat coverage, no overtime. Behr Marquee, only at the Home Depot. How doers get more done. Valid only when tinted to colors from the Behr Marquee Interior One-Coat Hide Collection.
From the regular season to the Super Bowl, ESPN New York is your destination for football. We've got crazy fans.
If the Giants somehow beat the Cowboys, I'm going to take a dump on your head.
You can feel good because you're a damn football team.
Expert analysis.
Marcus Spears joins us now. ESPN NFL analyst Damian Woody.
Mel Kiper Jr.
The Hall of Famer Steve Young.
He's kind of our resident general manager, Louis Riddick.
We got Mike Tannenbaum right now.
And all your fantasy and wagering needs. This is ESPN New York. We are football.
There's nothing the voice in our head obsesses over like our health. But with over 100 lab tests and insights, Function can help answer the questions like, why am I so tired all the time? How can I get better sleep? My friend was telling me about magnesium gummies she takes. Know if my heart is work stress affected? It's time to up my cardio. If my mom has something, how would I find out? It's time to get some blood work done. A Function membership gives you a comprehensive health check with results tracked over time. Find out what you're made of at functionhealth.com.
Score a win this game day with Amazon Pickup, the MVP of package pickup. Need that new football jersey for the big matchup? With Amazon Pickup, you can collect your order from secure Amazon lockers or counters near you on your schedule. Whether you're running from work or home or straight to the tailgate, Amazon Pickup makes it easy and worry-free at no extra cost. Don't miss kickoff. Grab your gear and your packages when it works for you. Find your nearest Amazon Pickup location at amazon.com/pickupmvp. That's amazon.com/pickupmvp.
Lowe's knows that free makes everything better. That's why our rewards members get free standard shipping on the things they want and need to get the job done every day. Savings for rewards members add up fast, so why wait? Join for free today. Lowe's, we help, you save. Not available in Alaska and Hawaii. Exclusions and more terms apply. Loyalty program subject to terms and conditions. Details at lowes.com/shipping terms. Subject to change.
Whether you're building a single roof or a successful roofing business, roofing contractors like you need the right tools for the job, and software is no exception. Service Titan is on a mission to be the most powerful software platform for the trades, with purpose-built technology proven to maximize revenue, streamline operations, and deliver 5-star customer experiences. We are taking roofing companies like yours to the next level and beyond. Service Titan, we are built for this. See what we can do for roofers at servicetitan.com.
All right, let's let it rip for you. 1-800-919-3776. Let's go to Anthony in the Bronx. You're on ESPN New York. What's up, Tony?
What's up, fellas? Boy, listen to you. I know you're emptied out. But listen, as a Yankee fan, and I got to agree with both of y'all, you know, Boone plays the players that is given to him by Cashman. It's Cashman that brings the players to Boone. So it's not relatively Boone's fault, but I'm not in love with Boone as a manager. But it's Brian Cashman. And I agree with you that the Yankees, we have gotten so arrogant that we can't follow nobody else's formula like these teams that have $100 million less payroll than we have, who's making the playoffs, who's winning world championships. And so we can't follow that formula. We keep following the same formula. And we got guys, including Judge. Let's don't take Judge off the hook. He had one good game. But the Toronto first baseman, he wrecked the whole series. That's what superstars do. And we don't have those kind of players. Hideki Matsui came 2009. He wrecked the series. Alex Rodriguez, 2009. He wrecked the series. Reggie Jackson. You know why the fans love Reggie Jackson? He only played 5 seasons with the Yankees because he wrecked the World Series. We need players like that, gamers, dogs out there doing their thing. But until Cashman changes philosophy, we're going to repeat the same old things looking for different results. It's time for change. Yeah. And you're right. Cashman has got to go.
Well, it's well said, everything, but I'm not getting on Judge.
No, the Judge thing is incorrect.
Not this year.
Hey, Guerrero, the reason why Guerrero was able to wreck the series, and he did, he was unbelievable, was because he had other people also, like Clement. Like, he had other people that were also causing trouble. The problem with Judge is he was doing everything and then looking around going, anybody else want to join me?
He was on an island by himself. He tried to carry the team, but unlike basketball, where one guy, LeBron James, might be able to drag his team through a series, or a hot goaltender in hockey can, drag a team through a series where they don't play well, but he stands on his head. That doesn't work in baseball.
All right, before we get back to the calls, quickly, can you guess, knowing that Judge hit 600 in the series?
Right. And like 500 for the playoffs.
Yeah, right, but just in the series, what regular player, which means he played in all 4 games, was the next highest batting average?
The next highest batting
Who was it?
Just trying to think.
I won't even ask you for the batting average. Just give me the name of the player who had the next highest batting average.
Let me just
after Judge. He had to play in all 4 games.
Well, it certainly wasn't Grisham because he was terrible. It wasn't Volpe because he was awful as well. Goldschmidt didn't play in every game. Rice didn't play in every game. Wells?
No.
Who?
Wells hit 231. Ryan McMahon, the third baseman. The guy who usually bats ninth.
Play in every game.
Yes, he did. He appeared in every game.
He appeared in every game. Okay, yeah.
Well, I said he appeared in every game.
Yeah, because
10 at-bats, he hit 300.
Yeah, and he had
So Stanton was 267. Goldschmidt played in 3 games. He was 250. Wells played all 4. He was 231. Bellinger, all 4, 188. All guys on the interstate. Ready? Bellinger, Rice, Chisholm, Grisham, and then Volpe. Jeez, he was on the state road.
Bellinger might have been injured, but he's in there, right? He's playing.
So he made good defensive plays.
That's what Derek Jeter would always say.
He still gave you 4 RBI, though. Even though he didn't do anything with the bat, he still got you 4 RBI.
Yeah, and 2 of them came in garbage time in that 13-7 loss.
So you're saying I'm not taking Judge off the hook? No, he didn't have one good game. He had a great series. The problem is nobody else. No support.
No.
And we got a tweet before. It was like, Judge has to carry the team to a championship. Name me the last baseball player.
You can't do it.
To carry a team to win a championship.
You only get 4 at bats. So if you homer in every at bat, you still need a pitcher. You still need a bullpen to be able to shut them down. You need help, man.
Yes.
And also defensively, they didn't kick the ball around like they did last year. But that Jazz.
Oh, that was the game.
That was killer. Like any at 2-1.
Ate them up.
At 2-1.
Yep.
You're thinking, all right, all you need. Judge's going to get a couple of at bats. He'll run into one here, tie the game, maybe win an extra innings, force a game 5. That opened the floodgates for once it was 4-1, it was over.
You felt it. Yeah.
It was over.
Yeah. All right. Back to the calls. Let him rip, Donnie. Let him rip.
Roger, Bronx, go.
Hey, what's up, guys? I'm huge fan because you are a Yankees fan. You said everything that all of us are thinking. I got 2 things I want to say. The first thing, Cashman got to go. You're right. Players have come and gone. They've changed. You can't keep blaming the players. It's the same philosophy. And 2, I was disgusted the way they protected Volpe yesterday in the 9th inning because they knew.
He's going to get booed.
They didn't pinch in for him 2 innings ago. They did in the 9th when the game was pretty much over.
Mm-hmm.
It was disgusting, and that comes from the top. We all know. We know who's running the show. Even Jeter called it out. Jeter himself called it out. I'm going to hang up so I can listen to what you
Thank
guys got to say.
You are not wrong.
Jeter was, you could see it. He was smoldering during that postgame.
Well, remember, he's got no love for Cashman to begin with.
None.
So
he doesn't like the approach. He doesn't like all the things that I'm saying is what he won't. He has hinted to, but he'll never say. I would love to hear him, like in just a one-on-one conversation, and hear him rip.
And Alex got on him too. And there's a thing going on from the post game where Alex said that Boone that they're pulling strings from above, and then there was another report that says Boone does make the decisions. Michael's been saying it forever. We've been saying it forever. It's semantics. Boone is in lockstep with everything that they do. So whether it's, the chicken or the egg, it doesn't matter. It's like Boone is doing. He's not doing their bidding. He's doing his own bidding. He agrees with them.
Yep.
So they're both right. So there isn't any outside the box thinking because there doesn't need to be because Boone agrees with everything. So nobody's calling from above down to the dugout, do this, do that. But it's all mapped out beforehand, and he's involved in it.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is it almost is cultish in the sense that so everybody agrees? There isn't one person who goes, maybe we shouldn't do it that way. What happens? Do they spontaneously combust if you disagree? How can you have all these people, the Tampa people, the Cashman people, Boone, and they all yeah, that's the way you do it.
Yeah. Right. They all just nod.
How can everybody be of like mind? That's
idea,
scary.
BC. Great idea, BC.
You know what?
I agree too, BC.
Because
let's keep doing it that way, BC. You're the man, BC.
You know what I think when that happens?
What?
When everybody agrees with the boss, it's because they're scared they're going to lose their job.
They all want to keep their jobs.
Because you can't listen. Alan, I love you. We've known each other for 25 years. I would be scared if we agreed on everything.
People should see us argue when we're at lunch.
Because that's just life, right?
Yes.
I mean, listen, I married my wife. I spend my whole life with her. We don't agree on everything. When you agree on everything, it's somebody staging it. Somebody's faking it. Somebody's scared that the other one's going to leave. Somebody's scared they're going to get beat up. Somebody's scared they're going to lose their job.
How do you trust anyone's real opinion if they don't ever disagree with you?
Right, that's an issue.
Because now I'm wondering, are you ever honest with me, or you just go with it because you don't want to argue?
Then I've lost respect for you.
I can't trust you now.
Because I'm going to obviously lose respect for you. You're listening to Don, Hahn, and Rosenberg on 880 ESPN, WHSQ, and WCBS FM HD2, New York. Tommy, Linden, go.
Let him rip, Donnie.
Yeah, guys, I'm just seeing a pattern here. It's starting to really look, unfortunately, like the Billy Bean A's, and that's what happens when it sounds like they rely 100% on analytics. And you were talking before about the heart and the gut and not watching the game. I mean, pulling Schlittler last night, 88 pitches.
I didn't know about
a double play.
You know what?
All the time.
I never thought to bring that up. I was wondering the same thing. Why were they taking him out?
Lanes.
And you saw him come out the first time, right?
When he came out, you were texting like, they better not take him out.
The crowd was booing, and then when he turned around and walked away, they gave the kid the option, or did he just want to talk to him or get a feel? Whatever it was.
I don't know.
But the fact that they took him, when they took him out, I'm like, wait a second.
Why are we hot to get to this? Now, again,
at the end of the
their
season.
argument would be, well, look how good the bullpen was last night, the night before, which it was. It was weird, but Tommy, that was very curious. 88 pitches, really? I mean, even by the 100 standard, you could still get a couple more batters with 12 more pitches.
Was he losing it? I mean, I know he wasn't mowing people down, but he looked like – well, I'll tell you what, by the way, side note, I am excited for next year for one reason. When they get Cole back, they got 4 really good pitchers.
Oh, they'll win 100 games, win the division.
They got 4 guys that can go.
Get ready. October 9th next year.
Except the 4th, October.
What's going to happen?
Except when we get to October. Yeah.
What else you got, Tommy?
Yeah, it's just, I mean, again, they don't have guys. I mean, the analytics work over a long period of time, as you say, but they're playing the best players now and the best teams, and I just think they're relying way too much on the numbers.
Yep.
As you say, it's planned out, and they're not going by their gut. That's part of the reason Girardi got fired, everyone said. He didn't want to listen to that.
Right.
And,
Not all the time.
And Joe Torre, too, to a certain extent, they felt that he wasn't like that.
Well, don't you wonder, and Tommy, think about it, 'cause what you're saying makes a lot of sense. If they know you're going by the numbers, and they all, like, it's not like some magical numbers that no one knows about. Everybody has the numbers, right? Aren't you predictable? Doesn't it make it easier to prepare for you? And again, playoff series are different than a series in July. or a series in June or a series in May or even August. When you're going from one city to another, you're bouncing around. Everybody's got to read the reports. Not everybody's going to read the reports. They're not going to know all the details. But when you get to a playoff series, especially when you have a week to prepare, you're going to know everything. You're going to know chapter and verse about the opponent,
you know what?
And that's when it becomes predictable.
But also, these aren't robots, okay? You program them to hit, and they hit.
Yeah.
All right, Vlad Guerrero seemed to know what was coming.
It felt like it.
But he still had to execute. He still had to hit it,
yeah.
Right? Wells is told in the situation where, he came up with the bases loaded, right? Pitcher can't find the plate, swings at the first pitch. Why? Because the analytics tell you when a guy can't find the strike zone, he's going to throw a fastball, so jump that fastball. He did, but he didn't execute. Lazy fly ball to left. The players still have to execute, Alan. You've got to get the right players that can play your reindeer games, all right? Mm-hmm. So I'm all for following these numbers, but you still got to execute it. Just because the Blue Jays did a great job scouting the Yankees, give credit to the players. They executed.
True.
They executed a plan to a T.
Yeah. They were locked in.
I mean, so it is still about the players, and can the players execute this? Not lefty hits righty, launch angle, exit velocity, home run now.
Does not compute.
It's great if you're playing the game on a computer. And yeah, somebody used the old adage on the phone call earlier. The game's not played on paper.
Yeah.
To the analytic people, they believe the game is played on paper.
Yeah. Stratomatic.
But make sure you've got the right players to get it done. Matt, New York City. You're on ESPN New York.
Dude, this guy has had the most resources in baseball for 25 years, the most money. He's won one World Series in 25 years, and he only did it when he did what everyone told him to do, which was sign CC Sabathia and Mark Teixeira. Every other year, he's been resistant to do the obvious thing because he wants to build the team in his image, which is home runs, bat 220, strike out 100 times. The Yankees have had 10 guys with 100 strikeouts this year. They struck out 66 times in 7 games. The highest contact rates and lowest KO rates in the last 10 years, 2015 Royals, World Series champions.
Mm-hmm.
17 to 22 Astros won multiple World Series. 2022 Guardians finished second to the Astros. Nationals won a World Series. The only outlier is the Texas Rangers. They had 3 guys on the team that struck out 100 times. Because when you put the ball in play in the playoffs, guys make mistakes. And for all the big home runs that the 90s Yankees had, they had a lot of times where they hit a ground ball to short, and a Braves shortstop botched it and made an error. Because in the postseason, those plays become less easy to make.
And that was Game 3.
That's what happened in Game 3. That's how they won Game 3.
Excellent call, by the way. You came prepared.
Yeah, good job, man.
How many times have you seen someone come into Yankee Stadium, a Kenny Rogers or some bum, shut down the Yankees because they strike out 9 or 10 times because he gets guys that are all or nothing? And the problem is home runs do win postseason games, but you only hit home runs when you get pitches to hit. And that's when players get on base. But there's never anybody on base to make them pitch to Aaron Judge to hit home runs. So that's all I got to say.
Well, and I'll tell you this, man, and I'll split the difference.
Amen.
You got to hit home runs because the Blue Jays, even with their not striking out, they hit home runs. Home runs are key. I get it. You want to hit home runs. But can we split the difference and say, okay, once you got 2 strikes on you, maybe you change the approach?
Like Bellinger.
Yeah, like, you know what? Unfortunately, the home run now is off the table because it's 0-2.
But that's what Bellinger does.
Yeah, and
Bellinger breaks from the mold. He's just like, I don't do that.
Right.
I do this.
He does, and we'll see. Are they going to bring him back?
We'll
find out. Listen, and I want to say this too. I want to say this too. That's a kid that gets it.
Yep.
All right? Because he's going to opt out. Everybody knows he's going to opt out. He's not going to take $25 million and stay. He's going to opt out. That's the smart thing to do. But what did he say? I'm going to talk about it with my family. Not like Pete Alonso. I'm gone. Not like Cole and Soto. Like they already got different hats on. It's all business. Give the kid credit, man. Like he loves being here, right? His dad was here.
Yeah.
But he's also, it's a business.
And Judge loves him.
So the smart thing is to opt out, and we'll see if the Yankees are going to pay him.
And I'm telling you, Judge is the type of guy that you come and ask me, I'll tell you, but I'm not going to force my will on the front office.
Well, maybe he should now.
No. They better go to him because again, you can't keep taking people away from him. Soto, you took away from him, right?
Yeah.
You can't take Bellinger away from him now.
But wouldn't it be?
I know. Doing
listen,
this.
I'm not asking Judge to be or do something that he isn't capable of doing. But he's a partner in this thing with the contract that he got. I'm not saying you got to kick down the door, but just say,
certain guys, though, he's not about that. Because if he does become about that, now you're taking on responsibility. And that's not right. Like, you don't want that as a player, especially as a team leader, because other players then look and go, oh, you wanted him here, you didn't want – he doesn't want that. Don't want that. I've talked to players about this.
I understand.
They're very careful with how they do it. But if you approach me, I'll give you my opinion. But I'm not forcing my will, because then that gets out, and now it looks like I'm handpicking players.
I get it, but
and that can ruin a room.
It's not like – I hate when players, like, take it to the media and they're grandiose about it, trying to play general manager. I'm just saying that – his legacy's on the line. He's the highest paid player on the team. He's the best player on the team. He's the best player in baseball. There wouldn't be anything wrong to knock on the door and say, Brian, hey, listen, my 2 cents, you do what you got to do. You're the boss, but I'd like Bellinger to stay here.
I think
Make it happen.
I think if you listened to him last night, he sounded like that's what he was kind of saying.
I hope that's because I do think there's a difference there, too, of grandstanding and being the man and being selfish and just saying, hey, I want to win here, and I'm a partner in this. You gave me a monster contract. I'm not trying to step on any toes, but listen, if you want my 2 cents, it's that.
Yeah.
Curly in Brooklyn, you're on ESPN New York.
Hey, what's going on, fellas? Thanks for taking the call
No problem.
Thanks for the time. I feel like you guys have already, and all the callers are saying what I wanted to say, but I'm going to try to coalesce it into a full point. I got 2 points to make. So the first one is the formula is bad, right? So we know, everyone knows that. Hahn is saying that, you're saying that, and this is the right stage for everyone to call him because you guys say that the most. Cashman and everything else, the front office, how they put together the team, the formula is missing pieces. They're just holding. You want to make a steak dinner. All you feel you have to do is just say, we have steak. You don't get any asparagus. There's nothing to go with it. And then we got, the bus boy is going to cook the steak, as well as the chef is going to cook the steak. We don't need all of the players trying to hit home runs. When you're putting together a team that to win a championship, they say we need pitching, we need hitting. But when it comes to breaking down the parts of each, you only want to hit home runs when it comes to hitting. So obviously, there's more than home runs. You're not going to hit solo home runs and win the game all the time, right? You're not going to hit a bunch of solo home runs. People got to be on base. You want to hit 2 and 3 run home runs. And all these other teams are doing better at putting the formula together. They're getting parts of. They're not one-dimensional. That's long story short, they're not one-dimensional. And the Yankees are one-dimensional. And you have up and down the lineup because, you drive the ball out, you're going to win the game. Everybody's trying to do it. Not everybody can be judged. And it's messing up these guys' swings. The game plan was simple for the Blue Jays. A bunch of players that can keep the bat in the strike zone. That's all it is. The longer you have the bat in the strike zone, the more chance you're going to make contact. The more chances that pitcher has to be perfect at hitting that spot and getting you out. And 9 times out of 10, the odds are that's not going to happen, right?
Well, how many times? Predictability. How many times did the Blue Jays strike out in this series? What was it, like 12? Something ridiculous, right?
It's a very low number. Yeah.
Bat on ball, man. But they don't not get it. Like they just disagree. Like, it's not out of ignorance. It's out of stubbornness. We believe this is the best way. Home runs win games. I want all my guys to be able to hit home runs.
They struck out 24 times.
There's the Blue Jays?
Yeah.
Over?
In the series.
That's so that's what, in 4 games?
Mm-hmm.
That's compared to, like, how many times the Yankees struck out?
The Yankees struck out 37. The swing and miss stat was the one they had last night on Fox, which was mind-blowing. Mind-blowing.
Oh, just guys are working counts, fouling balls off. It's like, oh, my God. It was just like waiting for.
The majority of those strikeouts for the Blue Jays came in Game 3.
Right. That must have been the stat. How many times they strike out in Game 3?
Game 3 strikeout was 11.
Right.
So 11 of the 23.
11 of the 23. Because 10 stuck on my. I think they gave the stat like going into this 6th inning or 7th inning that in the wins, I think they only struck out 10 times. Like something ridiculous like
right.
that. Yeah. And they didn't strike out a ton. But they look at it and go, well, listen, I get the strikeout, but I want my guy hitting home runs. There's nothing wrong with a home run. Why do I want to hit 3 Why do I get 3 singles to get 1 run when one swing of the bat I can get 1 run? That's again, this all makes sense as a math equation. You're right. Same thing with 3-pointers in the NBA. Why am I working for 2 points when I can just launch one from half court and get 3? Like it's all logical in playing it on paper, in theory, before the game. But on a night where you're like they're mixing and matching, I got a lefty against a lefty here, and he's not seeing it. So just get the bat on the ball, man. Hit a sacrifice fly. What was the insurance run that the Blue Jays got to make it 5-1, right? Just a little looper, right? I'm not trying to hit a 2-run home run. Yeah, it would be nice if I hit one, make it 6-1, but you know what? 2 outs, runner at
defensive at bat, just throw the bat on the ball, and it just finds a hole.
It was 1 out, so it's like I'm trying to hit a fly ball. Let's get that run in, man. I don't want to strand them there. I don't want to give them momentum at 4-1 and have them get out of dodge, leaving a guy stranded at third. God, how many guys? Big innings,
and it's always to me again. The 2 things that stand out is that, and that the bottom of the order never seems to be able to produce ever. Like most teams, obviously the bottom of the order doesn't produce well. But the better teams always have 1 or 2 guys that just, they just find a way.
Yeah.
And if Judge is hitting
guys.
if Judge is hitting second, the one time that he's going to have the leadoff batter in front of him, and that's it, is the beginning of the game. After that, the 8 and 9 guys are important as it's almost like, again, putting Judge in cleanup, old school, is so that you get a couple of guys on base when he hits these home runs, right? When he's going to do something big. When you're playing a guy, when he's hitting the 2-hole, I understand it's more at-bats for him. But you're also getting the 8 and 9 guy. You're also hoping gets on base so that someone's on base when he does hit a home run, right?
Yeah, right.
The 8 and 9 guy is not really your best hitter, not really your best get-on-base guys.
What was the big compliment? There was 2 things they used to say about the old-time Yankees. Circular lineup and pass the baton.
Yes. Yeah. Well, that was the old days.
Well, I'm not hitting a home run here, but I'm going to get a single. The next guy will hit a home run. Oh, he'll get a single. The next guy will get a home run. And again, it would have been nice. Wells hit the grand slam home run. But maybe if his philosophy is I just want to drive a line drive someplace, get a base hit, that'd be 2 runs, and boy, maybe that would have really changed everything. Let's go to Rodney in Westchester. You're on ESPN New York. What's up, man?
Hey, what's going on, fellas? I'm a big fan of you guys. Just, man, I'm gonna go out and say it. I'm gonna say it right now as a Yankee fan, a long time. The Yankees replaced Juan Soto, but they didn't replace Juan Soto, and I'm gonna say what I mean by that.
I know what you mean.
Last night, you got what I mean, right?
I know what you mean. Yeah.
And Alan and Don, let me, and then and this is us as me and other Yankees venting, but it's one of these things where it's like Juan Soto is that guy that you mentioned in line of those other guys. Well, we saw last year. That at bat that he hit, that he played the pitcher from the Guardians to hit that blast. Like, that's what we needed. And we didn't have that. And this goes on into what you were talking about with Judge can't do everything. We need another guy. Well, we had that guy last year, and he didn't want to play for us for some freaking reason. Granted, whatever you want to say, money, whatever, it doesn't matter. He's not here anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So what did they do? Oh, yeah, we pivoted, and we got this guy. So you got a bunch of bodies. Don't get me wrong. Those bodies did the job during the regular season. But guess what? This is the difference. This is where those guys don't equate to that one guy. It's in this moment. It's in the playoffs. That's when the big boys play. That's when the big guys come in and make the move that they need to do. That's why when Uncle Steve paid all that money for Juan Soto, he paid it for those moments. Now, granted, yes, the Mets didn't make the playoffs this year. That's not going to happen again because I'm assuming that they're going to do what it takes because they really want to win a title. Unlike the team, unlike the team in the Bronx, that what they're happy with is, guess what? Let's raise the banner for having another winning season. This is what it is about now. And this is what we have to, and Hahn, I don't want to accept this, but this is what they are about. It's the building full, and if the ratings in yes are high, is that good? Great. Let's show them that we're good. Hahn, you seen that the Jada Kiss meme? It's good, but it's not enough.
It's not
enough. That's what this is about. That's exactly what it's about.
That's the best way to put it. Is every fan acknowledges, like we get it that every year it's good, but at some point you're like, okay, we can't keep getting to October and it's a letdown every time. Like, at some point, when are you like, this has to all this like cheering for 6 months, it's got to lead to something. It's almost like that, that date in high school.
I know.
Yeah, you probably do. But I'll tell you what,
a bunch of triples got you through high school.
Bellinger and Soto, the comparisons are interesting, right, year to year. So very close in games played during the regular season. Soto played 157 games last year for the Yankees, 41 home runs, 109 RBI.
Right.
That's terrific. Bellinger, 152 games. There's 5 fewer. That's it. 29 home runs, 98 RBI. And that's the second highest RBI on the team.
Right.
The Judge still carrying the offense, but you needed that and that's, I think, what he's trying to suggest to call it. And that's, you're kind of missing that second dude.
But
and Bellinger was good. He's very good. But
I know we're beating up on the Yankees, but I don't think Bellinger was healthy.
The heel?
I think the heel was a problem for him. I can't prove it, but
I gave you his numbers through the whole season. I didn't give you his playoff numbers.
Right, his playoff numbers weren't very good.
No, but I'm saying
so maybe they would have been if he didn't hurt the heel,
in the
right?
body of a season,
because that was at the end of the Boston series. So maybe things would have been a little bit different. But the way the Yankees would counter that call is, well, the Mets had Juan Soto, didn't make the playoffs, and we want to make the playoffs
because they didn't have a dude.
Because because their thinking is going to be, listen, if I caved and gave him the suite and let his family run around during batting practice or whatever, then maybe I would have got a less engaged guy in the regular season than Bellinger was, and maybe it would have affected us in the regular season, and we don't make the playoffs. I'm not saying they're right,
wrong.
But that's because Bellinger was great.
Yeah.
I mean, all the Yankee fans don't listen. When Soto left, maybe it was just a way to kind of put a salve on it. Was, hey, we love the pivot. We got Fried, we got Bellinger, we got Goldschmidt. Well, Goldschmidt ended up being a part-time player. Bellinger didn't do anything in the series against Toronto, and Max Fried cost you in the one game he pitched against Toronto because his knees were knocking. Didn't seem like he could handle it.
Brutal.
All right, but in the regular season, Max Fried's going to win the Cy Young, right? Bellinger was the second-best player on the team.
Offensively.
And Goldschmidt was a pretty solid first baseman until Rice took over. Mm-hmm. So, again, they won't look at that as a failure. They'll look at it and go, all right, well, the Mets missed the playoffs.
I'm not saying it's a failure.
Right.
It's just that I'm just saying that like when you're looking at all the little things, like that's another thing where you just they're kind of missing that guy.
Juan Soto and his bat would have. You're telling me that we wouldn't have helped at least yesterday when you get 2 hits going into the 8th.
But I'm gonna continue to say it. We got to stop focusing on the players. This goes beyond the players. This goes beyond the approach. It's what the Yankees want to be, and one man decides that. And it's the same guy for the last 25 years.
And you know what the Yankee fans are saying right now? And we're going to get back to your calls at 1-800-919-3776. Maybe you'll say it yourself. Is that they're thinking, well, why didn't you bring back Soto? Give him what he wanted. And sign Fried. And sign Goldschmidt. Like, we're the New York Yankees, for God's sakes. The Dodgers had a $414 million payroll. Well, why are we not giving Soto what he wanted? We want to win that championship. We went to the World Series. You're not leaving the building. What do you need? We'll do it. All right? And we'll still get Max Fried. And we'll have a $400 million. That's what the fans are saying.
Because there should be urgency in getting one while Judge is in his prime, before he starts to decline, before Cole starts to decline. There has to be an urgency to do it now.
And there could have been a sense of urgency in the sense that we also need somebody to replace Judge. Soto would still be, 30 when Judge is done? Yeah. And we'd have the next superstar on our team. But they were thinking, know what? We don't want to set a precedent. And I understood.
It's fine.
Again, I'm not going to sit here and say this happened because of Soto.
But, Don, you were still good enough, in my opinion. You won 94 games. You were good enough to win the World Series this year. You were.
Right.
But you didn't play well enough to do it.
And last year, Yankee fans could kill me. Last year, you could live with it because I think they lost to a better team. I know the Yankees handed it to them in Game 1 with the home run for the Freeman home run, and they kicked the ball around in Game 5. I still believe in my heart the Dodgers were the better team.
All right,
that's
fine.
But
they weren't that much better.
Were the Astros always better? I think the Blue Jays are better too. But are they that much better?
The Blue Jays play their game better than the Yankees play their game.
And the other thing, too, and then this is part of it, too, in analyzing it. They got dunked on in this series.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, they didn't lose in 5, and every game was a one-run game.
No, this was
They
Shaq.
got beat the heck up.
Yeah. This was Kobe, Shaq, Lakers.
Yeah.
They came in.
Except Judge put up a 50 spot in the game, and they won one.
Yeah, Judge was Allen Iverson.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, that's it. He stepped over Guerrero in Game 3. But aside from that, this was Kobe Shaq.
Yeah.
They were just too freaking good.
So
but they aren't Kobe Shaq. That's the problem. They play their way better than you play your way.
And I got to tell you,
we've said that about the Rays, we've said that about the Astros, the Red Sox. That's been the problem. The Yankees run into that wall because the other team plays their way better than you play yours.
And I'll say this, and I get accused of telling Yankee fans how to root. I'm telling you how to root.
Uh-oh.
Root for the Blue Jays to win the whole thing.
The whole thing.
Because if the Blue Jays get swept by the Mariners, you're going to be sick to your stomach.
Oh, that's a good
point. At least if the Blue Jays go on a run, sweep the Dodgers in the World Series, you'd be like, all right, that's a really good team we lost to. But if the Blue Jays get swept in 4 by the Tigers,
can you imagine?
And don't score, how red hot would you be? Think about it.
Yeah,
you would be. Come on, you're a Yankee fan. Are you,
would really bother
I know
me.
you hate the Blue Jays right now and everything they're about, but don't you have to hope that they end up killing everybody?
There has to be a part of you that says, well, just now go on and take it all the way to the end. So at least you could say that they were just on that heater this year.
Again.
That's a good point.
And also, I'm telling you how to do. This is my opinion.
Go ahead.
If I were a Yankee fan, because listen, I'm a Met fan. I went through it. Don't you respect the Blue Jays for I'm not because they didn't. I didn't sense any disrespect. Maybe you felt there was disrespect by the Blue Jays
celebrating on the field.
Well, no, they should celebrate. They just won.
No.
What I'm saying is that the work that they put in, they owned you. You got to respect that.
What did I tell you?
Yeah.
What do you remember? What I was saying before the series started? I was warning you. They want this.
Oh yeah. Listen,
they're going to be ready for you.
If they play with a chip on their shoulder, it's because
what John Schneider did with that team, getting them ready.
Yeah,
they were prepared.
You got to respect
their staff, everything they did to prepare for this series. It showed from the first pitch, and I give them credit because they were ready for everything in this series.
And
incredibly prepared.
Just because we were talking about Guerrero before, just an observation. I don't know if anybody else picked it up.
What now?
As a guy with a beard, I'm always conscious of it. If you're going to spit, make sure it clears the beard.
Yeah,
every time he spit, it ended up.
He was sitting right there. A little loogie right there.
It was so gross.
That is so true.
So he was probably irritating Yankee fans to begin with. That was it. I don't know if he had sunflower seeds, but whatever it was, he spit and it didn't clear.
There was one time I got so sick of Fernando Valenzuela's face.
Oh wow!
Because they did a close up on him. The Yankees couldn't touch him in that World Series, right?
In '81, yeah.
And they did a close-up of him, and just as they did the close-up, he hocked a loogie, and then he had it on his tongue for a second before he spit it.
Yeah, I remember that.
I'll never forget that, and just being like, this guy's disgusting. I was so mad.
Not in a bad way, but because watching all those Giant games, Madison Bumgarner with his snot rockets, where he would hold in the one nostril and just
just let it rip. Just blast one.
Listen, I respect you, man. You're a hell of a pitcher, but I don't need to see that
right
on national television. Oh my God! 1-800-919-3776. Back with your phone calls. Don't forget, coming up at 5:30, we're going to talk to Damian Woody, his weekly spot. Giants are playing the Eagles tonight, although it does feel like an afterthought. And the Rangers broadcast begins tonight because their first game is on national television. So the game in Buffalo with the Sabres, we'll see the debut of Kenny Albert and Dave Maloney on television. So Kenny's going to join us coming up at 5:45, ENN at 6, and then we're out at 6:30 because the Rangers Sabres on ESPN New York.
Ballybet Sportsbook. Yo, Ballybet stacked for football season. When it comes to sportsbook apps, it's undefeated. Ballybet. Check out that brand new parlay zone. Here's the kickoff. Build your bets and place them right on your phone. What? Live bets, daily boosts, and promos. Increase your odds so you can win more dough. Touchdown! Ballybet's the play. Make game day more fun and download it today. Must be 21 plus, New York only. Gambling problem? Call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY. Ballybet Sportsbook and Casino.
Download it. Did you know women account for 2/3 of all Americans living with Alzheimer's and 2/3 of all Alzheimer's family caregivers? Join the Alzheimer's Foundation of America at its Women Empowerment Forum on November 5th in Amityville to learn practical ways women can reduce their risk for Alzheimer's and enhance quality of life for themselves and their loved ones living with Alzheimer's. For more information or to register, visit alzfdn.org or call 866-232-8484.
Getting the right mattress helps you sleep at night. Getting the right price helps you sleep even better. At PC Richard & Son, they don't just sell you a mattress. Their experts use a 4-step fitting process to make sure your new bed fits you perfectly. The right fit, the right price, plus free delivery. It's what they do, only at PC Richard & Son. Free delivery on mattresses $199 and up. Excludes Manhattan. See stores for details.
At Uline, they know firsthand the road to success is an uphill climb. Uline started in the family basement, and through hard work is now North America's most trusted shipping and industrial supplier. They get what it means to have the support of reliable, hard-working partners. So they keep 41,000 items ready to ship. Whether your company is still in a basement office or expanding cross-country, Uline will be there on your road to success. Visit uline.com.
This is an ad by BetterHelp. BetterHelp therapists have helped over 5 million people worldwide on their mental health journeys. That's millions of stories, millions of journeys, and behind every one is a therapist who showed up, listened, and helped someone take a step forward. Moments in therapy, like the right question, a safe space to cry, or a small win can change lives. With over 30,000 therapists, BetterHelp is the world's largest online therapy platform, having served over 5 million people globally. And it works, with an average rating of 4.9 out of 5 for a live session based on over 1.7 million client reviews. This World Mental Health Day, we're celebrating the therapists who have helped millions of people take a step forward. If you're ready to find the right therapist for you, BetterHelp can help you start that journey. Our fans get 10% off their first month at betterhelp.com/timeout. That's betterhelp.com/timeout.
Now let's take a look at the traffic with Brandy Scott.
Thanks so much, guys. Just a miserable ride out there on the roads. We still have this big issue on the West Side Highway northbound. All lanes out by West 42nd. It's now an accident investigation. Traffic is stopped there from West Houston Street on up. All of your other approaches to the outbound Lincoln going to run you about 45 minutes. Outbound Holland picking up the slack. That's close to an hour. Really no easy way to the outbound Georgia, aside from the Henry Hudson. Cross Bronx westbound, crawling from the Bruckner on through. Inbound Georgia, about 15 to 20 for both the upper and lower decks. FDR southbound at a standstill. It's a big crash over by East 53rd. Only the right lane is squeezing by. Jam from the Triborough on down. This report is sponsored by Mothers Against Drunk Driving. For victims of drunk and drug driving, your grief is unique, but you're not alone. You always have a place at MAD. Visit mad.org. I'm Brandy Scott on 880 ESPN New York.
Just printed from the Erie Canal Press, the most coveted ticket, New York Lottery's $1 million raffle, hath arrived. 15 fortunate souls shall come into the fortune of a millionaire.
Translation, the $1 million raffle is here, and 15 winners are going to become millionaires. The New York Lottery commemorates 200 years of the Erie Canal with your best odds of winning $1 million. Limited tickets available. Ask your local retailer today. Please play responsibly. Must be 18 plus. Gambling problem? Call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY.
At City Harvest, we believe no New Yorker has to go hungry. With your help, we're on the road 365 days a year, rescuing over 77 million pounds of nutritious food and delivering it free to millions of New Yorkers, transforming surplus food into sustenance, sustainability, and smiles, rallying thousands of New Yorkers to power a network of nourishment across our city. One day, one meal, and one New Yorker at a time. That's how we feed good. Donate at cityharvest.org.
We all have that one friend.
I'm talking about the yo-yos who set themselves on fire and bathe in pork and beans.
Or know that one person.
I'm here with my family.
Who can't help but be.
He's not cool. His voice is weird. He's kind of a dork. His brother's a tool. His girlfriend's annoying.
That guy.
I didn't know it was banner night. We won't be out for that.
It's time for That Guy Thursday.
Hey guys, anyone want to play some ball?
With Don, Hahn, and Rosenberg.
He's just being that guy.
Well, That Guy Thursday is one that we don't want to spend too much time on because this is such a heavy Yankees day, and we have a lot of calls to get to. Again, 800-919-3776. So we won't, and we could probably point to different people on the Yankee front on that guy, but there was something that happened this week that was such a that guy moment that I felt like, Don, this is the only thing we should discuss when it comes to That Guy Thursday. And that, of course, LeBron James was that guy. So there was a post that was put out where he said that there's a decision 2.0.
Right.
And that's all he said that was coming up. I'm telling everybody to look forward. And it made everyone think, oh, he's going to announce this is his final season. And so people are even going to buy up the last home game for the Lakers, buying tickets up. The tickets skyrocketed for that game, all based off of him hinting that. And then right away, the minute I saw it, I thought to myself, this is a commercial. Anybody
did. Okay.
All the NBA people were like, this is a commercial. We all knew. Like, he's doing something to get eyeballs on it. And it worked because this is what he does. And we were right, because what followed about 2 days later, with him also sharing it with a wink emoji and the blinking eye, tongue out emoji. Hennessy, the decision has been made. Cheers to year 23 at King James.
Mm.
And that was basically it. And this was his decision.
Well, everyone's on pins and needles across the country. You ready to go, LeBron? Where's the powder?
Left it at home.
LeBron, fans want to know where you're taking your talents this year. What's your decision?
In this fall, man, this is tough. In this fall, I'm going to be taking my talents to Hennessy VSOP.
VSOP? And this was the conclusion you woke up with this morning?
That was the conclusion I woke up with this morning.
Why?
I feel like it's going to give me the best opportunity to win more at hosting.
We're good there. Yeah.
How much money?
Now that was verbatim him and Jim Gray from back in 2010. So it was following the same script. He just did it as a way to promote Hennessy. And again, for Hennessy, it's a huge win. But for LeBron, it's almost like you doing this. Like, first, you being that guy because you know it's going to get everybody hysterical. There's a guy, actually, a guy in L.A. is suing him for the for the $850 he paid for 2 tickets for the last regular season game. Feels he needs his money back. And so, good luck with that, right? But, I mean, whenever he does decide to retire, is anybody going to believe him?
Probably not.
So,
but
this
how
is
much
that,
money is
this not a that guy? This is such a that
no,
guy.
it's totally
and I
that
hate
guy.
when LeBron is that guy.
It's totally that guy.
But he was that guy.
Listen, how much? I make as much money as you want. I'm a capitalist like anybody else.
Of course.
But at the expense of your fans, even for a moment, and even if it seems stupid to fall for it, it was cute, so it didn't matter as much. But it was similar to what Snoop Dogg did. It was like last year. He quit smoking.
Quit smoking.
Ended up being for the
Halo
a vaporless stove, something like that.
Yeah, the smokeless.
But listen, that I don't think people are crying if he decided to quit weed, and that was a lot easier to believe was just a stunt.
It was actually really funny.
But this, you're toying with people's emotions, and that's not right. But whatever.
So he was that guy. There you go.
I love it.
That guy Thursday.
1-800-919-3776. Again, coming up at 5:30, we're going to have Damian Woody, our weekly spot with him. Talk a little football.
Eagles-Giants tonight.
That's right. Talk a little Rangers hockey with Kenny Albert as he makes his, not his television debut. He's been on TV forever, but he is now the television voice of the Rangers, and their first game was taken by us here at ESPN, and that lost to the Penguins, so he'll get to call his first game with Dave Maloney on television coming up, and a game can be heard right here on 6:30. On 880 ESPN. So looking forward to that. But let's get back to the busy calls. Let's go to John in Bethlehem. You're on ESPN New York. What's up, John?
Hey, guys. How are you today?
Good.
Great show.
Could be better.
Great show. Yeah, I understand. I'm a 62-year-old Yankee fan. Been following them for, 55 years. So I've seen good and bad. It's interesting, though, I wanted to bring up that these, we talk about how the Yankees need to adjust, that it's good to be in the hunt every year, but, and to never win, not so good. The Blue Jays came in last year in the East. They had 20 less wins last year. They figured out what to do to improve, and look where they are now. I only bring it up because other teams have done that too. We understand the Red Sox have come in last and won the World Series the next year or 2 years later. There's something that those teams are doing and figuring out that the Yankees front office has not yet figured out. They're improving in ways that are advancing the team in ways that the Yankees haven't done. there's got to be logic to that. They're doing something different.
Right. Yes, I completely agree. And a lot of it, I think, is not necessarily that other teams are doing something better. I think the Yankees, what they do is predictable. And when you get to October, teams that are good enough find ways, the loopholes, all the weaknesses, and they exploit them. And the Yankees don't have a second gear. They don't have another way to go. Right? They can't just switch to southpaw. Like, they don't have another choice. It's just, this is what we do. And teams know it.
Well, a perfect example of that is last night they did the classic lefty-righty, lefty-righty. So they're a matchup hell for the Blue Jays. Well, you know what? The Blue Jays knew that. Guess what? We're going to have everybody coming out of the bullpen. So in every big spot, a lefty faced the lefty, a righty faced the righty. And when it did come time, walk judge with nobody on.
Yeah, that was the one
we
time.
We don't care.
Yeah.
You know, because we'll just make sure that every lefty, Bellinger's going to face a lefty, and Volpe's going to face a righty, and we're going to make sure it ended up where against them.
Was to McMahon.
Well, if everybody does it the same way, well, somebody's got to win and somebody's got to lose, right? So it's either players' execution, which I think is a big part of it,
is, yeah.
Or it's just that, hey, you do it the same way I do it, but I got a little wrinkle.
Mm-hmm.
There's a way that I work around it. Maybe I go a little bit more with my gut, or maybe I stray from it, and I just have the lefty face the lefty and hope that he's going to win the battle. Because clearly it doesn't work. Like I said, it worked last year, but again, Yankee fans get upset with this. But you know, the matchups worked in the American League because the American League still is not great.
Oh,
and then they got to
road. Look at the road they had.
Well, I was saying right,
and the Guardians weren't.
And the Royals, so they weren't. They took advantage of that, but they did go to the World Series, and great. It was the first time they had gone to the World Series since 2009.
You can't deny it.
But you can't follow up going to the World Series. Hey, if we hammered the Mets you can't go to Game 6 of the League Championship Series and the next year miss the playoffs. Well, you can't go to the World Series and then not even make it to the League Championship Series.
Well, you get overwhelmed in the DS. Overwhelmed.
And I got to tell you, the one thing I do not want to hear, because they'll be. Hal will speak and Brian will speak. They'll have baggy day, I guess, tomorrow, and they'll go over everything. What I do not want to hear is, we didn't have Cole all year, and we missed Heel for the first half of the season. He clearly wasn't the same player. And Judge went on the IL. Maybe if Judge does go on the IL, we win a couple of games and we win the division. I don't want to hear that, man, because everybody's got injuries. Like, listen,
blame the
one
players.
of the best. Correct me if I'm wrong. One of the best Blue Jay players that wasn't even playing this series, right?
Oh, Bo Bichette.
Yeah. So everybody goes through injuries. The Dodgers lost half of their starting rotation last year, still won a championship. But you're going to hear it.
Can we get
one thing I'll say about the Yankees? They do like a good excuse.
That's what I was going to say. Can we get some accountability? Can we get some ownership of it? Can we get somebody to just say, you know what? We're not doing it right.
Because if you're going to say unacceptable, then I don't want to hear an excuse. You said it was unacceptable.
Yeah.
So if it's unacceptable, I don't want to hear it was unacceptable. But let's not forget, Cole, one of the best pitchers in baseball,
we did lose Garrett Cole, and
didn't pitch all year.
We really were relying on him. We thought we had 4 good starters, and we had to use other starters. And you start blaming players. That's what I don't like when you start because what you're doing is you're pointing to areas of the season where things didn't go right for you, as if every year the season just is
nobody's got a perfect
just sail through the season. No, everybody goes through the lulls. So you got to talk about October and October only, and talk about the Octobers of the past and why they all have the same connection. It all looks the same when it's over. Why is that?
Yeah.
Why does it always look the same at the end?
And it shows you, too, that one guy can't do it, because this year it was Judge that raked. Wasn't enough. Then last year was Stanton that raked. It wasn't enough because one player isn't going to be able to get it all done. Let's go to Javier in Queens. You're on ESPN New York. What's up, Javi?
What's going on, fellas? Thanks for taking the call.
Always.
Listen, Don, I don't know if you remember, I think we spoke on Friday, and I said that your newfound Yankee fandom was creating movement over on my side of town. And ever since you changed sides,
I never
the Yankee
changed.
season just
That
went down.
was Alan and Peter propaganda.
Once Don
all I
started
said
rooting
was
for
that it was
the
a bit of a
Yankees,
struggle. I never did that.
They suddenly fell apart. It's
I
a
never,
great point,
First of all, I never did that. Okay? All I said was that sometimes you get into a little struggle of the team that I hated growing up and now how good it is for the Yankees to be in it. But I never said I was rooting for them. That was words that Alan and Peter put in my mouth. And also, they won. Right? I said it on Friday going into the series.
And they got smoked for 2 games.
They did win a game.
Yeah.
But go ahead, Avi. It never happened. But I'm sure you got other points, man.
All right, you know what, Don? You can go back to the Mets now. That's fine.
I never left it.
I'm
going to say goodbye to you because you're not listening. Because these are lies that are being told. All I said on Friday was it is kind of weird because the Yankees doing well helps me, helps the station. So it is a bit of a. I was grappling with it, but I never said I'm rooting for the Yankees. I never pivoted.
You never said you weren't rooting for the Yankees.
I never said I was. I said I was grappling.
You didn't say you weren't either. You were fighting it.
Well, because I'm not going to be that jerk. I'm a journalist. We're talking about the game. I'm not going to be, Joe Fan. First of all, I can't even wave a flag. Oh, the Mets. Well, the Mets. Shut up. I got to shut up. Mets didn't make the playoffs. I got to shut up. But I don't have. But the one thing about being a good talk show host, and I like to think that I am a decent
You're one of the best.
Is that you can't just shut up.
No.
Otherwise, then forget it.
Right.
You don't have a job.
Yeah. The whole idea of the job is
I was not rooting for the Yankees. I didn't become a Yankee fan.
Not yet.
I don't see it happening. I don't. All I just said is there's benefits to the Yankees winning.
Absolutely.
Because what are we pivoting to? Football?
No.
I mean, these are pillow fights the Jets and Giants are playing the rest of the year.
Don, I'm telling you, it's our time now. Basketball and hockey. What we've been dreaming about is finally
Well,
here.
I'm ready.
Me too.
I don't have a game tonight. It's going to be weird.
Yeah, you're watching the game tonight. I got to tell you. I've got something that's even worse than that. It's a preseason game that I'm working in. Like I'm doing sideline.
Your game and
while the Giants
I'm gonna
are
watch
playing.
it, but I got to be on the Devil game because the Devils are on ESPN too. So John Butchergross is calling. That's why I'm not in Carolina.
Oh, they're on the Deuce.
They're on ESPN Plus. So it's on the app.
So it's only a digital vehicle.
It's a digital vehicle, but I'll be on it.
All right. Which means you're not going to watch me.
No, there's no shot at that. What am I going to do? I got the Giants playing. Look, Anthony, look at me. Look at me. I'm not even going to look at him. No. What chance
what am I doing
Nick
Saturday
preseason
night? What do you think I'm doing?
So,
okay.
What are you doing Saturday? What are you doing?
I get it.
If the Knicks were playing, where would the Devils be in the pecking order? I got a Giant Eagle game.
Oh.
All right?
That's a huge big game. Big Giants.
But I'm a Giant fan.
Uh-huh. Right.
All right?
I
am the voice of the New Jersey Devils on television.
Why can't you
we
be
don't
an
have the
Allen
game.
fan?
I'm going to be preparing. Plus, I want to keep an eye on the Islander game and the Ranger game because I'm a hockey guy.
You know how I know we'll be watching me? At least checking in, making sure things are going well? Rick?
I heard Peter's going to watch on NBA TV in Perth.
That I don't believe.
So, Rick, how many TVs does Rick have?
I think it's like 5.
Because I got to tell you something. You know how many TVs I have in my house right now working? 2.
Working?
One in my man cave and one in the living room.
Working. Is it the one on top of the one that's broken?
No. They're all nothing's on top of anything else. We lost the one in the bedroom because I'm trying to Jimmy switch my direct TVs because they keep dying on me, and I don't have. So I keep taking the system and moving it to different.
Gotcha.
So I'm down to just the living room television and then the one down in the basement.
I think it's time to move on from DirecTV.
Probably.
And now, and now I've got the computer where I watch a lot of stuff. But I don't have the Dave Rothenberg, Rick DiPietro, I'm at Sports Phone and I've got 15 TVs.
Buffalo Wild Wings?
And I'm watching what was that? Remember Taxi when he got all the TVs and they're watching to see whether they're going to call them Delawareans or Delawareites, and I don't have that. All right, so there's none shot that I'm putting the Knick game on because I got too much going on. I love you. All right, I know you're good. You're doing a good job, but don't throw back at me. If you're calling the game on MSG, I'm on.
You know who else be watching? Bart.
Because Bart doesn't know that there are hockey games on. Not to mention Phillies Dodgers. Bart took vacation. Bart's on vacation.
Mm-hmm.
Vacation strong.
No, he's going to London.
He's going to London to do Jet stuff.
Well,
the Jets are in London.
Jacob has given me.
He's on assignment.
Wait a minute. SNY sent him to London, or is he on his own dime?
I think the Jets took him to London.
I think the Jets took him.
He might be
He's
one of
doing stuff on behalf of Jets.
Yeah, he might be one of the alumni mascot types.
But if you just look at his story, you couldn't tell he's at London or if he was even doing anything with the Jets. Honestly,
are you saying this on the air?
This is troubling.
Can YouTube see the eye roll? Can you see
your eye rolling?
Listen, good on Bart.
Did he work today?
No.
No.
Dan.
They flew today. Right?
He was off yesterday, too, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. Well, he's got stuff to do. But he's going to be watching me tonight. But Don can't change the channel.
3 a.m.?
Don can't change the channel, though.
No, that's not
Too
even where
hard.
I was going to go. Like,
it's all right. Don't worry about it.
I wouldn't want the day after the Yankees get eliminated.
I watched you in the preseason. Just saying. It's all right.
It's the first time I was doing it, Alan.
Well,
I'm just telling you. I got a lot. First of all, if Marco and Jalen didn't finish their homework, I'm not watching anything. All right, I got to get up at 6 o'clock tomorrow morning. I'm lucky I watch anything.
Okay,
but I'll be on it because I got a show to do.
Have you watched High Potential? Because I'm behind.
I did. I watched it yesterday afternoon.
I'm still behind.
High Potential's an ABC show.
No,
it's really good.
Yeah, I'm sure that'll
it's
be
really
on.
good. But that's on DVR. You can't watch sports on DVR. But Jacob's a little troublemaker. He's on vacation, but you know what? Jacob, look at me. He is.
Yes.
Because he ain't doing 1 inch of work.
Well, and then
the Yankees get eliminated, and he takes the day off.
He might be doing more than 1 inch of work.
Oh dear.
I mean, he's inching.
God.
I think we should break.
You know what? That's a bad guy. 1-800-919-3776. Don Hahn and Rosenberg on ESPN New York.
Serving contractors, builders, and homeowners in the tri-state area since 1987, Brooklyn Window & Door is New York City's largest stocking dealer of quality Andersen window and doors. The professionals at Brooklyn Window & Door will help solve any of your window replacement needs or applications. Visit Brooklyn Window & Door's award-winning showroom to see the complete Andersen product line, including the 400, 100, A&E series. Andersen, built, backed, and serviced like no other window.
Visit Brooklyn Window & Door at 185 30th Street in Brooklyn or call 718-WINDOWS.
Score or win this game day with Amazon Pickup, the MVP of package pickup. Need that new football jersey for the big matchup? With Amazon Pickup, you can collect your order from secure Amazon lockers or counters near you on your schedule. Whether you're running from work or home or straight to the tailgate, Amazon Pickup makes it easy and worry-free at no extra cost. Don't miss kickoff. Grab your gear and your packages when it works for you. Find your nearest Amazon Pickup location at amazon.com/pickupmvp. That's amazon.com/pickupmvp.
You make sure his toys don't have any sharp edges. You taught her what to do when the smoke alarm goes off and to wear a helmet when she rides her bicycle. You do so much to keep your child safe. But are you using the right car seat for your child? Car crashes are a leading killer of children ages 1 to 13. Protect your child's future at every stage of life. For information on the right seat for your child, visit safercar.gov/the right seat.
Sponsored by the New York State Governor's Traffic Safety Committee.
Hey, it's Kirk Herbstreit. On game day, great prep makes all the difference. Same goes for your pizza. That's why I go with Frigidaire's stone-baked pizza oven. Fresh pizzas go from dough to done in just 2 minutes.
Whether you're throwing a party or squeezing in dinner between plays, this oven delivers hot, crispy, restaurant-quality pizza right from your kitchen. Only from Frigidaire. Game-ready pizza. Get it today at the Home Depot. How doers get more done.
From kickoff to cash out, ESPN Bet has the tools you need to score more on game days. Bet smarter with stats at your fingertips. Get personalized parlays built just for you. And with your fantasy team synced right in the app, you can back your squad. Right now, new customers get $100 in bonus bets when you bet $10. Sign up with promo code USL to get started. Must be 21 plus. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details. Offer not available in New York.
In the city that never sleeps and never stops talking sports, ESPN New York is always on. Now you can live and breathe everything New York sports wherever you are. On your radio dial, on the ESPN New York app, and streaming live on YouTube. However you watch or listen, ESPN New York is always on for you. Hear us, stream us, watch us. This is ESPN New York.
All right, let's get back to the calls, 800-919-3776. We got a lot of people that want to talk Yankees with us. We'll get into football, Eagles and the Giants in the 5 o'clock hour. But like I said, let's get back to the people. Bobby and Belmore, you're up next. What's up, Bobby?
All right, 2 quick things. Number one,
It's only fitting that Jazz and Boone said the Yankees were the best team in baseball, and they would have 2 goals to the series. I mean, we know about Jazz, but Boone blew 2 bullpen moves. I have another thing to say about that, but the Weaver move extended the lead from 2-1 to 4-1, just like Jazz's era, when he put in Weaver, and then, like you said, taking out Schlitzer, and the lead extended from 2-1 to 4-1 again after 88 pitches. Now, I want to go back to this. I have counted 7 times that the bullpen has blown leads or has been terrible with terrible moves under the Cashman-Boone decision-making, or Boone by himself, whoever the hell is making analytics. 2022, they blew 3 postseason games, 1 against Cleveland, 2 against Houston. They didn't put in Holmes in any of those games. They put in Schmidt or Trevino, and they took out Cole with 86 pitches. And then you fast forward to last year with the fiasco in the World Series. They couldn't screw up the 2 previous series before that because the team sucked so bad. And then fast forward to this year, 2 games with Weaver. The free game, taking him out, putting a guy with a 90 ERA in September. And then they put in Weaver again in Toronto, which I just said, which extended the lead from 2-1 to 4-1, and taking out Schlitzer. Because 7 times I've counted that there's the decision-making on this bullpen, which is the most important decision a manager has to make, or the general manager, or the analytics, whoever the hell is doing it. And they're never going to win the World Series if this continues.
Well, it's the lanes. He says it. Those lanes are developed before the game starts.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know why it was just 88 pitches.
They put it all on the players, too, though. That's what they do. Well, it was the right move. He just didn't execute.
Yeah, which is an easy thing because it ends up being true, right? Because they obviously, a lot of those same pitchers executed in Game 3, right?
Yeah.
Got the job done. They won the game. Once it got to 6-6, that was the 4th inning. Blue Jays didn't score another run. Rodon was already out of the game.
Yep.
The bullpen did it. So that's why I can't get crazy about, Boone this, Boone that with the bullpen, because he pulled all of the right levers in Game 3, and then he does it in Game 4, and it blows up in his face.
And bullpens have been an issue. That's an epidemic in Major League Baseball. Like everybody has that same feeling of, this could be a grenade for all I know, but I'm making this move here, and I'm hoping it works out.
Because then the same thing happened with the Blue Jays, right? All of the moves blew up in their face in Game 3, and then it all came up spades in Game 4.
Unbelievable.
It's crazy. Eventually, just the players have to go out there and execute. But would it have killed anybody if Schlittler was just, hey, go out there, pitch, and then you could rest during the offseason? But it's all that. He threw, what was it, 100 and how many pitches he throw in the Red Sox game? 107.
107,
right?
yeah.
So was it, he pitched 107, and he's just a kid. So if we go 100 again, back-to-back starts, that could affect them for next year.
For next
Again,
year.
But that's what they do, right? Well, this kid's got a great future. We don't want to burn him out here. I get you don't want to damage guys, but it's a chance to advance to the league championship series and maybe win a World Series, because I still will stand by the fact that if the Yankees had won this series, they're going to the World Series. Now, I don't know if they'd beat the Brewers. I don't know if they'd beat the Dodgers, but I think they would have beaten the winner of Tigers and Mariners and gone to the World Series.
Yeah.
But that's, again, the thinking of, well, listen, we got to be careful with this kid. He's got a really bright future, and if we throw him 20 more pitches than he's supposed to, then he's going to get hurt. And mark my words, they all end up getting hurt, right? At the end, you try, going back to the Jabba rules, like, we don't want to get the kid hurt. Well, all the guy did was get hurt.
All he did was get hurt. It is funny, too. I was thinking, as I was saying before, I'm really looking forward to 26 because the pitching staff's going to be nasty. And then the next thought I had was, but of course, Schlittler probably be the next one. It's just it's inevitable with a lot of these pitchers in baseball. You find somebody that's really good, and then there's some point he ends up having to go under the knife.
Right. And
it's crazy.
Also, Alan, these guys don't automatically get back to where they left off when they have Tommy John surgery. How long will it take Cole to become Garrett Cole again? Half the season, all season? He'll pitch next year. There's no question. But how long will it take? Heel missed half the season. He was never the heel from the year before, ever.
Nope.
Right? And that wasn't even Tommy John. Let's go to Danny on Long Island. You're on ESPN New York. Hi, Danny.
Good afternoon, guys. Before we get to baseball, let me just say that I'm proud to announce I am still alive in the ESPN Survivor pool as we head into Week 6.
All right, so who do you got in Week 6?
I got either Steelers or Packers. I haven't decided. But for the two people who last week took the Jets. Can you please call in? We need to know what your logical thinking was on that. And I hope you're not parenting and raising children, because your judgment is highly questionable at this point. Now, it seems like just a couple weeks ago we had the Mets on the slab. We can conduct the autopsy, and I announced it death by no pitching. And now the Yankees, I'm going to call it death by launch angle. Because when I remember this series, I'm going to remember one at bat, and that was Straw in the 7th or 8th inning. Looked like he was pitching out of the sand at Bethpage. He said he went up there with a thought that I'm going to take it. You got this change-up pitcher up, and I'm going to wait, and I'm going to wait, and then I'm just going to poke it into right field for a single. And if he had a pitching wedge, he couldn't have done it any better. He was practically laughing going up the first baseline, because that's a guy who had a thought. He had the weapon in his hand, and he did it. And all the Yankees do is close your eyes and swing as hard as you can. Yeah, and every once in a while you hit one 400 feet. Judge doesn't have to have a launch angle because he's so strong. But the rest of you, how about putting the ball in play? Because you know what happens when you put the ball in play?
Yeah.
Maybe the second baseman boots the ball and has an error. Or maybe it drops in. Or maybe, the umpire, things happen. From the time in the Little League, I would tell my team, nothing good happens on a strikeout. Put the ball in play. The two key hits of the game, 2-out single, score 2, and that RBI single by Straw. I think if they combined it, they both went in the air about 225 feet. They both barely made it to the outfield because you put the ball in play, and that's what good things happen. And the Yankees don't do that. And you get away with it when you're playing bad teams.
Yeah.
Because they're bad. Now you're playing the good teams. It's just the whole philosophy has to change.
And Danny, we gave them credit for going 7-5 during the quote-unquote gauntlet towards the end of the season. But what was the problem all year long? Couldn't beat the Red Sox, couldn't beat the Blue Jays, couldn't beat the Tigers.
Their record against division, their record against winning teams.
Because those are the teams that know how to do it. And that's why they made the playoffs. All right, they beat Seattle. All right, they're going to do it because they're a good team. So, but... the Judge talked about how hot they got at the end of the season, and you even brought it up about how they really felt great. Yeah. They also got a steady diet of the White Sox and the Baltimore Orioles, and that might have helped too. That's not what you're facing in the postseason. Okay, you're going to be facing teams that are way better.
And the White Sox and Orioles aren't like ultra prepared.
Yeah. Right,
to beat you,
especially at that time of year. They're just like, let's just get to the golf course, or I guess the new thing is Cancun. 1-800-919-3776, 5:30. Damian Woody, 5:45. Kenny Albert, 6 o'clock at CNN, and we're out at 6:30 because then we're going to hand it off to the Rangers and the Sabres from Buffalo on ESPN New York.
Hey, it's Gary Myers. Catch my NFL show, The Saturday Huddle. That's what I'm talking about. Yes! Every Saturday at noon, right here on 880 ESPN and the ESPN New York app.
The Fox Nation Patriot Awards returns for a new year.
Are you ready to get the show started?
Join host Sean Hannity and special guests and be part of the celebration live in New York. Tickets are available now. Go to foxnation.com/Patriot Awards.
Now let's take a look at the traffic with Brandy Scott.
Thanks so much, guys. We're going to start off in Jersey. Giants are hosting the Eagles tonight at MetLife Stadium, picking up some heavy delays on the Turnpike Western Spur southbound getting into the Meadowlands. Inbound George looking good for both the upper and lower decks. No easy way to make your way out of town right now, and especially tough over at the outbound Lincoln. Still have an accident investigation on the West Side Highway northbound, right lane out by West 42nd. You're crawling there from West Houston Street on up. Also, an earlier broken down car in the tube, going to run you at least an hour getting over to the Jersey side. Outbound Holland, worse than that, about an hour and a half. All of your approaches the outbound George are packed. Deegan northbound delays go back across the Triborough and up onto the Brockner. This report is sponsored by the New York City Department of Transportation. Speeding ruins lives. Drivers, watch out for pedestrians and cyclists and slow your turns to less than 5 miles an hour. I'm Brandy Scott on 880 ESPN New York.
Hey, it's Alan Hahn. Let me tell you about my friends at Bath Fitter. They remodeled the bath by my pool. They converted a tub into a shower. The result is amazing. Bath Fitter offers all types of custom bath renovations, including their unique PermaFit solution for a watertight fit. It's done in one day, easy to clean, and durable with no demo or mess, and it costs less than a standard replacement, plus a lifetime guarantee. Right now, you get no money down, no payments or interest until 2027. So start designing your bath today at bathfitter.com. There's only one Bath Fitter.
Getting the right mattress helps you sleep at night. Getting the right price helps you sleep even better. At PC Richard & Son, they don't just sell you a mattress. Their experts use a 4-step fitting process to make sure your new bed fits you perfectly. The right fit, the right price, plus free delivery. It's what they do, only at PC Richard & Son. Free delivery on mattresses $199 and up. Excludes Manhattan. See stores for details.
At Uline, the prevailing opinion is, if you don't live it, you don't believe it. The people at Uline believe in hard work, and they live it by being there 24/7 to answer your call, having 41,000 items in stock, and offering same-day shipping from 12 locations across North America. Business owners, sellers, buyers, shippers, and packers believe it. Uline is the hard-working, dependable source for your shipping and industrial supplies. Visit uline.com.
880 ESPN, WHSQ, and WCBS-FM HD2, New York. A Good Karma Brands radio station.
Game Time is brought to you by Tullamore Dew Irish Whiskey, because when it's game time...
It's Tully time!
It's Tully time.
We got lots going on tonight. Rangers are in Buffalo to take on the Sabres. Coverage right here on 880 will be underway when our show is over at 6:30. And Kenny Albert's going to join us coming up at 5:45 to talk about that, because he's going to be on the call with Dave Maloney on the television side. Islanders open up their season with the Penguins at 7.
Kid makes his debut tonight, number one pick.
Yeah, he does.
Yep.
And the Devils are in Carolina to take on the Hurricanes at 7:30. That game can be seen on ESPN Plus, so it's not an MSG vehicle. That's why I'm not there. The Giants host the Eagles on Thursday Night Football at 8:15, and the Knicks have a preseason game against the Minnesota Timberwolves at the Garden at 7:30, and Alan Hahn's going to be a part of that broadcast.
But
so
Don
we're looking
won't
forward
watch.
to that. I will watch every second.
You guys call tomorrow and tell Don what he missed.
After the Bart thing, I'm all over it. Tullamore Dew, the original triple distilled, triple blended, and triple cast matured Irish whiskey. Be sure to grab a Tullamore Dew or try the new Tullamore Dew Honey during today's action. Glasses up to enjoying Tullamore Dew responsibly. It's frustrating to be a Yankee fan. And listen, I will say that I always talked about spoiled Yankee fans, and I think that you should be happy that you have a team that's in it every single year. Okay, I will say that, because not every team can say that. Matter of fact, no team can say that. But I understand the frustration of never seeing it come to fruition, that you've got a plan and you know you're good enough and you just can't get it done. And last year stung, and you loved the pivot off of Soto to Fried and Bellinger and Goldschmidt, and you didn't have the regular season that you hoped to. Let's face it, 94 wins was not on the bingo card. You thought you were going to run away with this division. And because you played with your food, losing a game to the Rockies this year, right, getting swept by the Marlins this year, you had to play on the road in the divisional round of the playoffs instead of hosting the Toronto Blue Jays, and maybe things would have been different. But still, to have it end the same way it always ends, Alan, not being able to hit, leaving runners in scoring position. Yeah, we could talk about the bullpen, we could talk about the starting pitching in the series, but facing an opener in an elimination game, and you scored 2 runs. That's the same old song and dance.
And that's what I want to say is about the same old. We always do the same old Jets, right? We always that's a moniker that's never going to go away. Because why? Because same old Jets means it resembles the same thing, right? When you say same old Jets, what you're referring to is that's when they're at their worst. Boy, it shows. That's typical of them. In this current generation of Yankees, saying same old Yankees is not at the same level as same old Jets, of course.
No.
But it's very similar in that the way they're losing feels like the same way. And what I mean is that 8 out of 9 years you made the playoffs. 8 out of 9 years, the ending has never felt like, well, that team was just, well, you ran into a great team. Boy, what a good team that was.
Not even last year?
Like no. Because the way it ended. Kicking the ball around, making errors, like just shooting yourself in the foot. Like it just was an embarrassing way to you're in the World Series. Going to Nestor Cortez when everybody in game one's going, what the hell are you doing, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's just, that's the stuff that instead of just thinking, boy, Gave that a run. Maybe 2017 until we found out what happened. But before then, maybe it's just like, boy, that was a fun run from the Baby Bombers. This is just the beginning. I remember Ty Butler used to get mad at me because I called it house money.
Right.
Because it was such a young team. And I felt like this is the beginning. This is, you always have to lose before you win, and that's what this experience is going to be for them. Watch, you'll see. They're going to win one. And that didn't happen. Because year after year, it ended up being like the same way you lost. That they squelched your power lineup. That your big offense that you had all season long somehow got shut down. And every year, you walked away feeling empty. Like, no, there was more for this team to give. It just didn't do it. And so you also know that for the majority of those years, they kept changing out players. Yeah, there was a little bit of a core of guys. The Judge is the only one that's been here for the whole thing. But you can't keep changing the players and then keep blaming the players for failing. At some point, you stop and say, hang on a second. A formula that really works well in the regular season always seems to get shut down in the postseason. Why? Why does a team like the Rays find a way to shut you down? The Red Sox know a way to shut you down. This Blue Jays team knew exactly what to do. They had the book on you from game one. How is it that everybody else seems to know what you're going to do and how to stop what you're doing, but you run into a team that you can't figure out how to beat them? And that's the part that frustrates me. Last year's World Series was, yes, that's a really good team, so you got to be on it. You got to be on it. And instead, they kept making self-inflicted wounds that just made it harder, and eventually you obviously lose. Freeman was unreal. I just feel like this starts to become a broken record, Don. This starts to feel like same old Yankees. Dominate regular season, can't win in October. And it's different players, but it's the same result. So when it's that, you start questioning the system and the means of how they think they can win.
So obviously the two people.
And that starts at the top with Brian Cashman.
Is Brian Cashman. But also we can't exempt Hal from this conversation either. Because even though Hal's not the baseball guy.
Well, you're either coaching it or allowing it to happen.
Hal is the guy, the enabler of.
That's the word.
We need to make a change here. Now, Brian, we got to bring somebody else in. Somebody that is of like mind, but maybe has some different ideas, something fresher, something newer. You've done a hell of a job here. We appreciate it. And you're going to the Hall of Fame, man. You've accomplished a lot here in your time. You started out as an intern in 1986. You've been the general manager of this team for over 25 years. But it's time. Listen, the Devils parted from Lou Lamoriello. Now, that came from a change in ownership. But Hal needs to look and say that, yeah, you're great, but listen, this is not what we want, and we've got to make a change. And if he's not going to make a change, Brian certainly isn't all of a sudden going to find religion. He's going to double, triple, quadruple down on how he believes this should be run.
Yeah.
So then it's never going to change. So as much as we defend Hal, he spends money and he wants to win, that's the guy that can evoke that change by just saying he's not my general manager anymore.
Someone, please ask Hal Steinbrenner the question. Because he was criticized in the last couple of years about spending and that he's cheap, which is ridiculous. I'll always defend him. He is willing to spend. Him calling and saying, no, don't let Judge go. Whatever it takes, we got to call him personally. Will you sign if we give you this? He'll up the ante. Pushing the Soto thing, right? All that stuff was there. That's Hal. So anybody that says that he's not willing to spend is that you're wrong. He is willing to spend. My question is his money being spent wisely?
Well,
that's what I want to know.
Well,
is your money being spent
and
wisely?
For all
Are you getting
we know,
bang for your buck?
And this is the dirty little secret that Yankee fans don't want to hear, is that maybe they don't see the failure. Maybe Hal is perfectly happy with Brian Cashman because
I don't know.
You get me to the playoffs all the time.
I see perfectly happy to me as an extreme. Is he content because 8 of 9 years they've been in the playoffs, 33 straight years they've had a winning record, so you're never an embarrassment of a franchise. You're not the Giants. You're, God forbid, you're not the Jets. You don't go through lulls like this. You don't deal with what the Mets deal with. You don't have fans that bring paper bags.
Tell you,
you're not embarrassed. The house is full. That's all good. You're content. But even Hal Steinbrenner has to reach a point where he's like, guys, can we get a ring? Can we do this, please?
All right, and here's what I think would happen. if Hal said to him, I want to get a ring, Brian might say to him,
wasn't that 2009?
Listen, I'll get you a ring. You want a ring? I'll get you a ring. But be prepared, because the decisions I make to win that championship in 26,
which isn't a guarantee,
which is not a guarantee, could come at the expense of us being as competitive as we've been for the foreseeable future. If you want, I'll trade Volpe, or we'll just release him, and we'll have Caballero, who's got another year left on his contract, become our shortstop. You want me to sign Bellinger, even though he's going to be 34 years old, and even though our numbers tell you that he might not age well? You know what? Okay, we'll give him the contract and make sure that he's going to be our first baseman next year. All right? You want it? All right, you want me to trade Jones and Dominguez and bring in another? I'll do it. All right, and we'll win the championship and we'll have the parade. But don't come complaining to me in 27-28 when we were 82 and 84 or 80 and 84 missed the playoffs, because some of the decisions I'm going to make to win that championship in 26 may come at the expense of our future. I don't know this for a fact, but I believe that's what he would say, and because he always said I want championships, not a championship.
Yeah.
And if he presented that to Hal would go, I do want that championship, but I also like the fact that we go to the playoffs every year, and I love the ratings on Yes, and I love the building being full. I don't know if I want to sit there in the middle of the summer of 2028 watching a 100-loss team, because Hal is not going to go throw $100 million into the fold either to make sure that doesn't happen.
But I think what you're saying is missing the point of what I'm trying to make. The point I'm trying to make has nothing to do with spending more. What I'm saying is spend wisely. And what I'm also saying is the players keep changing, but the ending always looks the same.
Right.
So that got to tell you that maybe it's approach that needs to change.
But what he's going to tell you, the approach, we're complimenting Toronto. We're complimenting Boston. We're complimenting Houston, right, for what they've done winning their championships. But Houston had to tank for several years to get the picks, to get the Altuves, to get the superstar players that they got. And that meant being awful for 4 or 5 years, right? But the Boston Red Sox, between championships, finished under 500.
They weren't going to spend like this. You don't have to do that because you have talent. You're acting like you don't have talent.
I'm not saying that you got to tank.
I'm saying it's not the talent. I'm saying it's the style of play.
Right, but the style of play is conducive to the end game of we go to the playoffs every year. And I don't want to ruin that by going and throwing a bunch of decisions into 1 year and have it come at the expense of the future. That's the only logical answer, because otherwise, why is it happening this way?
How about this?
They must love what they do. The guy has not come close to losing his job. Aaron Boone just got a contract extension.
Yep.
There has not been a significant change to this organization since 2017. Every year is looked upon as a failure, yet no one is held accountable. So I have to assume, Alan, they're cool with this.
Of course. Content. But it doesn't make it right. And at some point, you need a result. Here's an incredible thing. Think about this. Aaron Boone has managed, 8 years, right?
Mm-hmm. Just finished his 8th season.
Yeah. He has – I'm sorry. He's made 7 playoff appearances.
Mm-hmm.
You know what's the second longest run that you've made the playoffs without a World Series? Like that, like you would think, you've been there a lot.
Right.
You gotta break through.
Because the mistake that you and a lot of Yankee fans are making, you gotta break through. This is unacceptable. What I'm telling you is, inside the offices of Yankee Stadium, it is not the disaster that you're making it out to be. Because if it was, they'd make a change.
Well, they aren't making a change because they believe in what they're doing. But if you listen to the captain last night post-game, he doesn't sound like a guy that's content.
All right, well, what's he going to do about it? You just said he's not the kind of guy that's going to storm into Brian's office and say, make some changes, re-sign Bellinger, get me some protection in that lineup. He's not going to be that guy. So I don't disagree with anything you're saying or what the fans are saying. But when you see the contentment or how cool they are with everything and no significant change, you're telling me anybody would blink an eye if they let Brian Cashman go? Hey, listen, you've gone 16 years without playoff success. You've been here forever. It's time to go. They're not going to do that. Why? Because they don't think he's doing a bad job.
Which is worse? The 18 years that it took from 79 to 95 without a World Series championship, that you were just a dumpster fire of a franchise for the majority of that time, embarrassment of a franchise, or what could be 18 years if they don't get there next year, and they've made the playoffs every year, like every other year, and they have a winning record every single year. Which one looks worse? Because it's almost like the excuse is,
the old days looked worse.
But you were such a poorly run franchise.
Because the building was empty.
But you were such a poorly run franchise. It's like, of course you weren't going to win. But this is like, you're really good every year.
Every good. Yeah, but look what comes with
never
that.
win.
Never win. But are you doubting my philosophy or my theory that, hey, I'll get you a championship, but, don't come crying to me if in 27 the building's half full because we're going to be a 90-loss team.
Because you're making it sound like you have to rip up the roster or you have to overspend. The roster itself is fine.
No, because they
don't. The problem is it's the way. Why are they so predictable?
Well, because Hal is not.
You can't keep changing
and
players.
I'm not calling Hal cheap, but Hal is not going to go out there and spend Dodger money. He's not doing it.
I have not said you have to do
that. Right, but he's already got the third highest payroll, okay? And I don't think it's going to get any higher because he doesn't have Steve Cohen money.
To try a different way.
Right, but then
try a different way.
Because they're not going to try a different way because they believe this way is working. What don't you get?
That's the part I'm trying to understand.
You're not supposed to understand it because you are going off a philosophy that George had.
It ends
a standard
the same way.
that George had. All we know is they're lighting cigars today. Good job, guys. Another season of sellout crowds. Another season of record ratings on Yes.
No way.
Another playoff round. Yeah, it stinks that we didn't win the World Series, but great job, everybody.
There's no way.
Then why isn't anybody held accountable for these failures? Why? You keep telling me it's unacceptable. No one is ever held accountable for it. So why am I wrong?
You're asking the wrong person. I can't answer that.
No, all I'm trying to tell you is
Hal Steinbrenner.
I want you to agree with me that they're up in their ivory tower looking down and saying, hell of a season, boys.
I can't believe that.
Oh, shucks, we didn't win. I want to win. It'd be great if we won. Who doesn't want to win? Everybody wants to win. But they are not going to stray from their plan because their plan is working. Because there's also another plan besides the piece of tin that Manfred gives out every year. There is, we make money every year. We're not an embarrassment like all the other franchises in our city are every single year. We're not the Mets who just blew it, didn't even make the playoffs this year, going out and get the best player in baseball and not make the playoffs. We're not an embarrassment like the Giants and Jets. We're not the Knicks that they take to the streets every time they win a stupid playoff game. We're not the Rangers that have one championship in 85 years. We're winning. What is everybody complaining about? And if I'm wrong, then tell me who's out of a job because they didn't win. Who?
The assistant hitting coach. It'll always be somebody like that.
The little chum that they throw the fans. That's garbage.
That's
and the only reason Girardi was let go was because he wasn't part of this philosophy.
Right.
Not because he did a poor job, not because he wasn't a good manager. He was a heck of a manager. Got him within a whisker of going to the World Series with a team that probably wasn't all that good.
Very young team.
But he didn't believe the philosophy. He didn't drink the Kool-Aid, and he was out. So if I'm wrong, Alan, and all these and everybody else is right, then why is no one held accountable when they supposedly fail?
My theory. Hal's afraid. Because you know what they always do? Well, who are you going to get? Who are you going to get that's better?
To the New York Yankees. You said you got all the money. You can't find the next great general manager?
I didn't say.
Not my job.
But that's what it becomes. You bring in somebody who's like, look at David Stearns. He's got all the resources. How's he doing? And he was thought to be like the next bright superstar general manager. This is his team, his home ground. Like he's a hometown team. And he's come here and
right.
It had a little miracle last year, and this year's a disaster.
But we'll see.
Right? So you don't want to take that step. The given and the known is Cashman.
Well, what are you saying?
And that's what he's afraid to take a chance on somebody else who could come in and say, I know what I'm doing.
Because while I'm looking for that guy, for all I know, David Stearns will be a genius and will lead to a bunch of championships. But in the meantime, there's the growing pains of a humiliation that the Yankees have not ever faced.
And then you have that regret of you fired a guy you shouldn't have fired because at least you were winning every year. And that goes back to what you're saying. That's a theory I have. I don't know if it's true. But all I know is I just want Hal Steinbrenner to tell me whether or not he feels like his money is being spent wisely.
And for all I know,
I don't think it is.
He thinks, well, you don't think so, but I think he thinks so. Because I don't see many empty seats.
So everyone else just seems to figure out the Yankees at various times in October.
Again,
and they can't figure
I hate
out why.
playing the role of Brian, but Brian will say, all right, the Blue Jays were better than us this year. They finished in last place last year. We didn't. We went to the World Series last year. They finished in last place.
Right, so they
Houston got all those players because they tanked. The Red Sox, how many losing seasons between World Series did they go through? Bobby Valentine losing 100 games. That's never happened on my watch. Giants, championships in 10, 12, 14. What happened in between? And what happened since? Have they gotten a sniff since their last championship? It's been 11 years.
16 years.
Where are the Royals after they run the back-to-back World Series? Where have they been?
Don't compare.
Tigers haven't won a World Series since 1984.
And now you compare it's apples and oranges.
But you're arguing with me. You should be arguing with Brian because this is what Brian's going to tell you.
Yeah, but that doesn't make sense. You want to? Here's your comps. Your comps to the Red Sox when they spend. Your comps to the Dodgers. Your comps to now the Mets.
Right.
Your comps to the teams that spend. Don't give me the Royals.
Okay. Well,
Like,
the Red
don't do
Sox
that.
spend, and then they decide not to spend, and then they fall apart.
Right. Well, that's an ownership thing. So it just shows you that sometimes.
And
you
I
have
also
to do it
and Michael swears to God this isn't true, but I will go to my grave believing this.
What's that?
I don't think Brian wants to spend money. I think he wants to win with the knowledge and the analytics. He'd love to go to Pittsburgh and win a World Series with a $30 million
That's what I want.
Because he doesn't want the championship to look like it was bought.
Right.
Like the allegations from the 4 championships in 5 years, the Yankees bought those championships. Look at the players they brought in.
Yeah.
They brought in Wells. They brought in Roger Clemens.
But
He
still
doesn't want. That's
championships.
why he fought. He didn't want the Shara.
There's still titles. He
He didn't want the Shara. Who got the Shara?
I know. Steinbrenner.
House said, go spend the money.
Yeah, go get him. Made him wait.
Or George, but I think George was out of it by then. I
Yeah,
think
no,
it was
no,
pretty
it
much
wasn't.
Hal. He was still
Yeah.
alive, but you know what I'm saying is that. So that's the dirty little secret
That's
that I
what
think is
want.
back there too.
I want the narcissist leading the franchise.
This is sad.
Winning
Did you
his
see this?
way.
Mike Greenwell passed away. Boston Red Sox.
Yeah,
Remember him
yeah.
from the 80s? Yeah, it looks like he's 61, 62,
Young.
1963 to 2025. He was a heck of a player. I just saw that pop up. The Red Sox just tweeted it out. Don't know the backstory, but
Don LaGreca's randomness. Nothing like it.
well, I mean, listen, the man's dead.
Yes.
I was somebody that I watched play.
Me too.
Not that much older than me.
True. You're
All right.
affected by it. I'm sorry. But you look great. Even for a day that you're not like doing a game.
Thank you.
You came in.
Trying to tighten it.
Nice and
You too. You look spectacular.
well. I got to clean up still.
Could eat you with a spoon. 1-800-919-3776.
Wow.
Coming up, Damian Woody.
Yes.
D. Wood. Talk some football on ESPN New York.
Hey, guys, I want to tell you about Amazon Pickup, the ultimate convenience play. We all know Amazon's a part of everyday life, but Amazon Pickup takes it to the next level. If you're time-pressed and on the go like me, you can choose to send your orders straight to a secure pickup location that works for you. Amazon lockers and counters, they're located near you. No matter where your day takes you, your package is ready when you are. Life never slows down. So instead of worrying about timing or schedules, your package is waiting for you. For me, with work, family, little baby at home, I'm always on the move. And Amazon Pickup gives me that flexibility to grab what I need between shows, errands, my commute, or while the baby's catching a nap. It's simple. Order online and at checkout, just choose the pickup location that's most convenient. You'll get an email confirmation when it's ready with instructions to pick it up. Quick, secure, and always at no extra cost. Check it out for yourself. Go to Amazon.com/pickupmvp to learn more. That's Amazon.com/pickupmvp.
Friends, it's football season, the best time of the year. You should be out there tailgating, cheering on your team, and enjoying every Sunday. But if you're dealing with neck pain, back pain, sciatica, or nerve pain, even getting off the couch can feel like a challenge. You don't have to live like that. There's help. Dr. Jay Shaw at Sandwell Pain is New Jersey's top pain specialist. He's Ivy League trained, double board certified, and is dedicated to helping you get back in the game. Here's what makes the difference. No surgery, no scars, no long recovery, no pain medication. just precise, non-surgical image-guided procedures that deliver real results. Dr. Shaw treats neck pain, back pain, joint pain, migraines, nerve pain, and sciatica with a plan that's customized for you. Same-day and next-day appointments are available, and with offices in Woodbridge, Livingston, and Inglewood, relief is always close. So don't let pain keep you on the sidelines this season. Visit SandwellPain.com to call, text, or book online. Most major insurances are accepted. That's SandwellPain.com. Relief is closer than you think, and it starts today.
To help those who want to be helped, but may not be able to afford it.
That's what PGA Tour winner Grayson Murray had envisioned for a foundation before he sadly took his own life at just 30 years old. His parents channeled their grief into creating the Grayson Murray Foundation, carrying out his vision to help those struggling with mental health and addiction. To donate and learn more, visit GraysonMurrayFoundation.com.
Right now, police are stepping up patrols to make sure drivers and pedestrians obey our crosswalk laws. Why? Because every year in New York, people are injured or killed just crossing the street. So remember, pedestrians, obey traffic signals and use crosswalks. And drivers, yield to pedestrians in crosswalks. If you don't, we will educate you on the law. And you may get a ticket, because tickets get attention, and that saves lives. A message from the Governor's Traffic Safety Committee.
At City Harvest, we believe no New Yorker has to go hungry. With your help, we're on the road 365 days a year, rescuing over 77 million pounds of nutritious food and delivering it free to millions of New Yorkers, transforming surplus food into sustenance, sustainability, and smiles, rallying thousands of New Yorkers to power a network of nourishment across our city. One day, one meal, and one New Yorker at a time. That's how we feed good. Donate at cityharvest.org.
Just printed from the Erie Canal Press, the most coveted ticket, New York Lottery's $1 million raffle, hath arrived. 15 fortunate souls shall come into the fortune of a millionaire.
Translation, the $1 million raffle is here, and 15 winners are going to become millionaires. The New York Lottery commemorates 200 years of the Erie Canal with your best odds of winning $1 million. Limited tickets available. Ask your local retailer today. Please play responsibly. Must be 18 plus. Gambling problem? Call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY.
And now let's take a look at the traffic with Brandy Scott.
Thanks so much, guys. We've got the Knicks home tonight. Preseason basketball over at MSG. Might want to consider using mass transit. No easy way to make your way into Midtown, especially tough on the West Side Highway northbound. Still have this accident investigation by West 42nd. Not much better on the FDR, just crawling in both directions, heading over to the 59th Street Bridge. Outbound Lincoln going to run you over an hour. Outbound Hahn an hour and a half. All of your purchase, the outbound George or Slam. Not even the Henry Hudson going to help you out. Inbound George looking pretty good for both the upper and lower decks. 80 westbound in Jersey. If you're heading into Hackensack, stick with the locals. Crash in the express lanes by Hudson Street. You're crawling from the Turnpike in Richfield Park. This report is sponsored by the New York City Department of Transportation. Speeding ruins lives. Drivers, watch out for pedestrians and cyclists and slow your turns to less than 5 miles an hour. I'm Brandy Scott on 880 ESPN New York.
Getting the right mattress helps you sleep at night. Getting the right price helps you sleep even better. At PC Richard & Son, they don't just sell you a mattress. Their experts use a 4-step fitting process to make sure your new bed fits you perfectly. The right fit, the right price, plus free delivery. It's what they do, only at PC Richard & Son. Free delivery on mattresses $199 and up. Excludes Manhattan. See stores for details.
He's Damian Woody. He joins us at 5:30 every Thursday here on Don, Hahn, and Rosenberg. How are you, sir?
I'm well. How are you guys doing?
Not great, D. Wood. Yankee season's over. You know how it happens here in New York when that happens. We all get depressed, and it's time now to focus on New York football.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, baby.
Oh, boy.
Giants-Eagles tonight, D. Wood, and there's a lot. It's funny thing is, first of all, the Eagles never lose on Thursday night. The Giants never win on Thursday night, but yet both teams have issues. The Giants should have won that game last week. They didn't. They've got a million injuries, but the Eagles have internal stuff going on. Are they a running team? Are they a throwing team? They had a team meeting. Do you have any wonder about tonight's performance by the Eagles, or do you think this is going to be a steamroll?
Well, here's my thought process. So the Eagles aren't very good on offense. Everyone's talked about, what's happening to Saquon Barkley. their offense is too predictable. All those things are true. Their offensive line is nowhere near what it was last year when they were arguably, in my opinion, the best offensive line in football. And so if you're the New York Football Giants, here's the things that here's the game plan. Don't give them anything cheap, meaning don't turn the ball over. Play a clean game, okay? Manage your rookie quarterback. That Giants defensive front, get after this Philadelphia offensive line because you can get after them. Force turnovers if you can. Okay, if you can do those things, you absolutely can win this game because, trust me, the Philadelphia Eagles, even though they're 4-1, they're vulnerable right now.
What do you think 2 games in about Jackson Dart?
Listen, I think he's a high-energy guy. Obviously, I've talked about juice, all those things.
Yep.
He's, mobile guy. Listen, he got really good arm talent, all those type of things. I think the big thing for Brian Daboll, you got to manage him. You got to manage him, knowing that you're still developing this guy. He's still learning this pro game. So manage him, put him in positions to win because, trust me, he's going up against a very good Eagles defense. So you got to manage him. Punting is okay. It's okay to punt. It's okay to play the field position game. But if you can play a clean game and play to your strengths, that's got to be the key, in my opinion.
Now, Slayton's out. You already got Neighbors out. They went like almost 50% to tight end in the game last week. Can you go even more than that, or how do you change it up losing yet another weapon?
Yeah, listen, I think you got to play to your personnel strengths, right? So if your personnel, strengths dictate that you need to have multiple tight ends on the field, then that's what you got to do. I've always said, like, this thing, that's really in vogue in the National Football League right now. 2 tight ends, what they call 12 personnel. Put that on the field. Get underneath center. Play action pass on early downs. Do all those things. Run the football. Utilize the RPO, run pass option. Those are the type of things that you can do with a mobile quarterback in Jackson Dart.
Isn't that what you guys did in New England? Wasn't that always the 2 tight end thing?
Well, that was really like right after I left.
So it was after you.
That's when it Coach Belichick, basically brought that back into the league, and then all of a sudden it just morphed from there.
Wasn't it like Algie Crumpler?
Oh, yeah, wow. He was well after me in New England.
He looked like an offensive lineman playing tight end, though. He was huge.
Yeah.
But he had soft hands, though.
Yeah, he did.
The Saquon Giants beef, are you getting tired of it now? He's got the documentary out on Prime, and it's really mostly about him, but he does really go into detail about the divorce with the Giants, and he really does. It does make the Giants look bad, like real bad. And it's almost like to a point. Can we just move on? Okay.
Who cares? Like, we're over a year removed from that now. He went on to Philadelphia. Obviously, had one of the all-time great seasons. They won the Super Bowl. Like, what's the point of even rehashing any of that now? Everyone knows it was a bad decision at the time. Okay, so we're now over a year removed from that. So the Philadelphia Eagles are in their situation. The Giants have moved on and got their own situation going on. I know, me personally, I don't care. I don't care about any of that.
Yeah, it's just silly. It's petty at this point. He won. He got the Super Bowl.
That's
the
it.
Giants are a mess.
Just move on.
It's over. I don't know why he hangs on to that. You mentioned Bill Belichick. What's your read on what's going on with him?
Yeah, guys. Listen, I just think that I think it's time. I think it's time for Bill and North Carolina to go their separate ways. When you watch them, they're not even competitive, guys. They're not even competitive out there. I mean, they got this big turnover on roster. You have, allegedly there's turmoil with as far as the players and, people in the program, and it's just like at some point, is it even worth it? Is it even worth it to have Bill Belichick as your head coach at this point if you're UNC right now? Because you're talking about more things outside of the game than the actual product on the field.
Yeah, it's not.
So I just think that it's just, I think it's just time to move for everyone to move on.
Do you think, for him coaching wise, like this has tarnished any chance of him coaching again in the NFL?
I think coaching in the NFL is over.
Over. Yeah.
I mean, because who like, first of all, it's not like he made a bunch of friends in the NFL. That's number one.
Yeah.
So who's there to advocate for Bill Belichick in the National Football League right now? Like the few coaches that are still in the league, Josh McDaniels is the offensive coordinator with Mike Vrabel. Okay, I forgot his defensive coordinators with Ohio State. There's not many coaches that really advocate for
Patricia,
him right now in the net. Yeah, it's Matt Patricia.
Yeah.
There's not many coaches that are in the league that are advocate for him. So I honestly think that's over. I think the league has moved on.
And talk about petty. Like he won't let the Patriots do anything with the program. They're not allowed to be around the program. Apparently, was it Drake May wasn't allowed to be on the field or something like it's so bizarre.
Yeah, petty is the right word, but also you're hurting the kids. You're hurting the young men in the program as well.
I agree.
Not having scouts from the Patriots organization, not having them you're literally hurting your own players. So, it's just unfortunate that it's gotten to this point.
I'm talking to Damian Woody, his weekly spot here on Don, Hahn, and Rosenberg. Jets are in London. They left on Monday. The way things have gone now, 0-5, no turnovers. Can it be healthy just to kind of get away from everything and maybe play a better, more decent game against a really good team, the Denver Broncos, on Sunday?
Yeah, it can. It can definitely help to get out of the noise of this this media market here. In the tri-state area, and listen, I think the biggest thing for the Jets is a couple things. One, stop hurting yourself. Like, you give yourself no chance when you're committing stupid penalties, and you turn the ball over. And by the way, you haven't gotten one turnover in 5 games, which is unheard of in the National Football League. So if you just play a clean game, how about getting your hands on the football and stop committing stupid penalties? And maybe you'll have a shot to win a football game.
Do you see anything that gives you an indication that Aaron Glenn can be a good coach? Forget what he did in Detroit, right now as a head coach.
Listen, I haven't wavered on Aaron Glenn. I just think that, listen, at the end of the day, the guys on the field, and I said this on Monday on Get Up, like, the guys on the field got to have more pride in their profession. Like, have some pride in the way you go about doing your business, because I know AG, I know his message, and he's steadfast on preaching the message because it's tried, true, and it's worked in this league. But ultimately, AG's not on the field. The players on the field. I could sit here and go at AG all I want, but at the end of the day, the players out there going to making it happen. They have to be the ones that's going to be the change and turn this thing around.
Hey, we talked about it a couple of weeks ago, right? Like, the culture is such a difficult thing to flip, especially with franchises that are just used to losing and everybody's used to them losing. It takes forever. Let's have some fun. Oh, go ahead. You want to add one more point?
No, I'm just going to say that I think my one observation with the Jets is, like, sometimes when you're down and you lose, like, everyone's waiting for who's going to make a play, who's going to be the person to make a play, and the way you flip it is, I have to be the person that's going to go make the play. I can't wait for the next guy to do it. I have to do it. And if you have a collective group of guys that's thinking like that, then things will start manifesting and stuff, and things will start happening.
Yeah, that's usually what we've seen. Well, the type of player you need is an MVP caliber player. We're at 5 weeks, going into 6 weeks. Are you buying the Baker Mayfield playing at an MVP level? There's been a lot of luck on his side this year.
No, absolutely.
Yeah.
Think about this now, Alan. But coming into the season, over the last couple of years, Baker Mayfield has led the league in touchdown passes over the last 2 years. Think about this. His last 2 offensive coordinators are now head coaches. That's how well he has played down in Tampa.
Yeah.
So Baker is the thing I love about Baker. He's playing his best at the most important time in games, and so that to me is that's what it's all about. When we talk about MVPs and these awards, it's about moments. People think about the moments, and Baker Mayfield seems like every week has moments that's just like, yeah, that dude, he's that guy.
Yeah, it's pretty Pretty amazing when you see the turnarounds of Sam Darnold and Daniel Jones and Baker Mayfield. It just sometimes
reclamation projects.
It takes the right team. It just takes the maturity for it to all come out. Now, you got a little something going on tonight. You got a big day, right? You got the Giants and the Eagles. You got all the baseball playoff games going on. Alan Hahn's working a Nick preseason game.
I know Woody's going to be watching that.
Well, you got Islanders, Pens, man. Pens coming off a big shutout win against the Rangers. What are you watching tonight?
Man, I'm watching. Well, obviously, I got to watch the Thursday night football game because I'm doing post-game Sports Center with SVP. But, bro, I got my setup. I'm watching a little bit of everything. Listen, Don. You know I love my Islanders. I'm watching everything. I'm watching. I got my eye on a little bit of everything right now. No. By the way, this is the best time of year in sports.
Oh yeah,
in my opinion,
this is the Nirvana.
This is the best time of year.
Yes, we have days. Today we have. Because of preseason, we have all 4 going tonight.
Right. Now, it doesn't count as a sports equinox.
No, it's not the equinox yet.
It's just preseason.
But we do have all 4 tonight.
That's pretty cool.
When you consider that which
is tremendous. And, oh, by the way, I'm loving the fact that the Yankees are now with my Red Sox.
You know what?
It's
fishing. Unnecessary.
Well,
hey, by the way.
These are family members that you have in your house that are Yankee fans you're talking about.
No, hang on. Laker fan. Did you hear about LeBron and the sciatica injury? Like if nothing screams old man like, oh, my sciatic is acting up.
Hey, listen. You're going too far now.
Okay.
You're going too far. No need to assault me with that Lakers slander right there.
No, we love you, D. Wood. We'll talk to you next week.
All right, take it easy, guys.
All right, that's Damian Woody. His weekly spot at 5:30 every Thursday on Don, Hahn, and Rosenberg. Now, Jordan Raanan was on DiPietro and Rothenberg. And getting ready for this game against Philadelphia tonight. Again, Slayton out, Neighbors done for the year. Jordan, who's Dart going to throw the ball to?
What we're going to see is a lot of 2 tight ends like we saw the other day. I mean, that's what the Giants have healthy right now. I mean, Daniel Bellinger was their leading receiver in this last game. Theo Johnson caught a pair of touchdowns. We're going to see the Giants run a lot of 2 tight end sets and 3 tight end sets, and they ran it 42% of the time the other day. I think it might be over 50 in this game. And they're very short on wide receivers right now. So Jalen Hyatt played some, didn't even notice he was in the game. Right? He just runs deep, and occasionally we'll just chuck the ball up to him, even if the guys are back there. That's when he gets the ball. It's wild, but yeah, I think we're going to see a lot of 2 tight ends and a little bit of mix of Jalen Hyatt, little Jordan Humphrey, Bo Collins alongside Wan'Dale Robinson.
And Dart loves Theo Johnson. Like the two of them, very close.
Yeah, for
and
sure.
You could tell like he finds him in the end zone, so it is something to watch.
Now Tracy's questionable, so Jordan, is he going to play?
Yes, he has no injury designation, so we're going to see Tyrone Tracy. I don't know in what kind of role. I think we're going to see him in sort of a split-type role with Cam Scadaboo. Maybe so Scadaboo's not taking so many hits and preserve him long-term here. I think that's probably best for everybody with the way he plays. I think it's actually a good combination because Tyrone Tracy has that more home run hitter ability where Cam Scadaboo brings that, I'm going to lower my head and run through you.
Hammer.
Now, this is usually the type of game where the Giants have the throwback where it says Giants on the helmet.
Yeah.
Is that what they're doing tonight?
I don't know. Are they? Anthony?
It feels like that because you know what, they don't win in prime time and they don't win with those uniforms.
Going Kelly Green.
But a lot of people love the Giants tonight. With getting a 7.5.
Something's got to give.
You feeling it tonight?
Not definitely not feeling.
All right. Well, you got time.
Like the Giants are 0-10 on Thursdays. The only winless team.
Only winless.
The Eagles are 10-1. I think something's got to give.
Maybe.
You know the last time the Giants won on Thursday night? How far back can you go?
You know what? I'll answer that when we come back. I'm going to think about it because I don't want to keep Kenny Albert waiting. He's next.
Oh, yes.
As he and Dave are going to debut on television tonight on MSG as the Rangers in Buffalo to take on the Sabres on ESPN New York.
The Fox Nation Patriot Awards returns for a new year.
Are you ready to get the show started?
Join host Sean Hannity and special guests and be part of the celebration live in New York. Tickets are available now. Go to foxnation.com/Patriot Awards.
Getting the right mattress helps you sleep at night. Getting the right price helps you sleep even better. At PC Richard & Son, they don't just sell you a mattress. Their experts use a 4-step fitting process to make sure your new bed fits you perfectly. The right fit, the right price, plus free delivery. It's what they do, only at PC Richard & Son. Free delivery on mattresses $199 and up. Excludes Manhattan. See stores for details.
At Uline, they know going the extra mile takes hard work. For companies pushing to go further, Uline will go the distance with you. 24/7, they answer the phone to get you the shipping and industrial supplies you need. Business can move fast. Unexpected large orders, adverse weather, new safety guidelines, and changing economic trends. Uline works hard keeping 41,000 items ready to ship, minimizing detours on your way to the extra mile. Visit uline.com.
This is an ad by BetterHelp. BetterHelp therapists have helped over 5 million people worldwide on their mental health journeys. That's millions of stories, millions of journeys, and behind every one is a therapist who showed up, listened, and helped someone take a step forward. Moments in therapy, like the right question, a safe space to cry, or a small win can change lives. With over 30,000 therapists, BetterHelp is the world's largest online therapy platform, having served over 5 million people globally. And it works. With an average rating of 4.9 out of 5 for a live session based on over 1.7 million client reviews. This World Mental Health Day, we're celebrating the therapists who have helped millions of people take a step forward. If you're ready to find the right therapist for you, BetterHelp can help you start that journey. Our fans get 10% off their first month at betterhelp.com/timeout. That's betterhelp.com/timeout.
From the regular season to the Super Bowl, ESPN New York is your destination for football. We've got crazy fans.
If the Giants somehow beat the Cowboys, I'm going to take a dump on your head.
You can feel good because you're a damn football team.
Expert analysis.
Marcus Spears joins us now. ESPN NFL analyst Damian Woody.
Mel Kiper Jr.
The Hall of Famer Steve Young.
He's kind of our resident general manager, Louis Riddick.
We got Mike Tannenbaum right now.
And all your fantasy and wagering needs. This is ESPN New York. We are football.
Score or win this game day with Amazon Pickup, the MVP of package pickup. Need that new football jersey for the big matchup? With Amazon Pickup, you can collect your order from secure Amazon lockers or counters near you on your schedule. Whether you're running from work or home or straight to the tailgate, Amazon Pickup makes it easy and worry-free at no extra cost. Don't miss kickoff. Grab your gear and your packages when it works for you. Find your nearest Amazon Pickup location at amazon.com/pickupmvp. That's amazon.com/pickupmvp.
Don't take slow for an answer. Not so easy when you're stuck in traffic. But mere inches from someone else's bumper, you can dream of faster things. Like Optimum Fiber, the fastest and most reliable fiber internet, starting at $40 a month. So while you can't always switch lanes for a faster route, you can switch providers for a faster connection. Optimum. Don't take slow for an answer. Call 888-4OPTIMUM or visit optimum.com/fiber today. Terms apply. See optimum.com for details.
Maloney on the call for MSG Networks. After working 20 years together here on ESPN New York, they're now together again on television. It was a great decision by MSG to promote these guys to TV. It was an honor working with them for all of those 20 years, filling in for Kenny, doing pre and post, and I'm so happy that you guys get your first broadcast tonight in Buffalo after ESPN snatched up the opener. But let ESPN take the dog 3-0 Penguin win. Kenny, you get to call the first win of the year in Buffalo. What's going on, man?
Well, we're here in Buffalo tonight, and Johnny, first of all, congratulations. Great job during the preseason. So it'll be a lot different for both of us this year with Dave and I moving over to the TV side after 20 years, and you were such a big part of it. You know, we loved having you as our teammate, doing so many games and the pre, the intermissions, the post game. So have a great season with Ken Danico. But as far as the Rangers broadcasts are concerned, you know, so thrilled for Dave. You know, Sam Rosen, obviously, his retirement was announced prior to the season, and Joe Micheletti did not announce his decision until after the season. So to take Dave with me as well is such a thrill, and we can't wait to get started tonight.
The rules are, though, that now you and Don can't be friends because Rangers Devils, like, we don't get along. So that's how it has to go from here. But I have some trivia for you, Ken. Before we went to break, I asked Don a question about tonight because you know a lot of NFL. Giants-Eagles tonight. And I said that the Giants are 0-10 on Thursdays in the last 10 seasons. Okay? Can you tell me when their last win came and who it was against on a Thursday night?
Wow, that's a tough question. Now.
Come on.
I'd have to go back and
well, you're really
check the
good at
archives
this
on
stuff.
that one.
Well, you know it would be 2015. It's 10 years.
I know they have not had a good record on the primetime games. That's for sure. So,
Yeah.
Well,
who was the last win against?
Washington.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's always
All right.
that was always their safe haven for so many years, right, Kenny?
Yeah. I thought you might know. Ken, you generally have an incredible encyclopedia of memory about things like this, and I thought you might have that one stored, so I figured I'd give it a shot.
Well, if you have any trivia about NFL games in London, I was just there this past weekend.
That's right.
So
you have all of it.
Might be better with some of the London questions.
The last time an 0-5 team went to London and won.
Well, I know that that's certainly what the Jets are looking to do this weekend. They're at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, where I just was on Sunday. So it's been a rough start, obviously, but we had the game against Tampa Bay a few weeks ago, and just really impressed with Aaron Glenn through the years. Did a lot of the Lions games when he was the coordinator. So I think he'll get it straightened out. He was the first to say that it'll take time when he took over.
Yep.
Not sure anybody expected them to be 0-5 at this point. A couple of last-second losses. The crazy play in the Tampa Bay game that I was at, the blocked field goal, they take the lead.
Yeah.
And,
Yep.
Unfortunately, there was too much time left on the clock, from a Jets standpoint, and the Bucs went down and won that game. But he'll do a good job, though. The two coordinators from Detroit, Ben Johnson and Aaron Glenn, such a big part of the Lions' success. So hopefully good things ahead for the Jets.
We're talking to Kenny Albert here, getting ready for the Rangers and the Sabres, and a lot of changes to the Rangers roster. What's the ceiling for them this year? Do you think they can make the playoffs, and do you think they can even maybe be a top 3 seed in the Metropolitan Division?
Definitely think they can make the playoffs for sure. I mean, last year was obviously a down year, for so many players on the team coming off the year before, the President's Trophy, and reaching the conference final for the second time in 3 years. But I certainly think they can be a playoff team. And as you know, Don, once you get into the playoffs, anything can happen. So much is based on your health at the time, goaltending, the matchups, who you wind up playing. So, as you've been around Dave Maloney as much as I have over the last 20 years. And Dave always says, it's not easy to make the playoffs. Only half the teams do, 16 out of 32. And only one team is the winner at the end. But they have a great coach in Mike Sullivan, who won a couple of Stanley Cups in Pittsburgh. And I think when you still have the core of Shesterkin in goal, Fox and Gavrikov on the number one defense pairing, and then the guys on the top two lines, Panarin, Zibanejad, Trocheck, JT Miller, Lafreniere, Cooley. I mean, it's a strong roster. And, obviously it's a young fourth line. The third line, it's a mixture of new players who weren't here last year, a bunch of new defensemen, who came in trades last season. So it's one down, 81 to go. But to answer your question, Don, I definitely think they could be a playoff team.
Well, it's a lot of the players you named, a lot of players still that have held over from the last year or two or more. But the coach has changed again, and it's Mike Sullivan. What do we expect will be different when it comes to how the Rangers look? Although opening night obviously wasn't anything anybody wanted. They couldn't score. They did struggle in that department. But overall, for the course of a season, what's something that you probably figure is going to look different about the Rangers than they did under Peter Laviolette?
Well, when you look at the last two coaches in their first year, they advanced to the conference final. So I guess if that trend continues, that would be a good thing. Gerard Gallant and then Peter Laviolette, conference final in year one. It's a bit of a different defensive style under Sullivan's zone as opposed to man-to-man, so that's something that might look different. He certainly demands a lot out of his players. He was here in the organization before as an assistant coach with John Tortorella, and he's brought in a terrific staff. You look at the assistant coaches, David Quinn, who comes back, who was the head coach with the Rangers, and Joe Sacco, who's been a longtime coach in the league, head coach in both Colorado and Boston, longtime assistant in Boston, and a young up-and-coming coach, Ty Hennis. So it's a terrific staff. Mike Sullivan, like I said, the 2 Stanley Cups. He'll be coaching the U.S. Olympic team this February in Milan. So highly respected around the league, and excited from a Ranger standpoint that he's now the guy running the bench, running the show.
Before we let you go, Kenny, this is an information question, but also advice for me, too. I mean, you've been doing television for a long time, going back to your days even on Fox and NBC and now on TNT, NHL-wise. What is the biggest adjustment that you're going to have to make from calling a Ranger game on radio as opposed to now on television?
Right. It's a great question. And like you said, I've gone back and forth through the years, doing the Rangers on the radio for 29 years, but also doing national games for, almost that same amount of time. Fox in the late 90s and then NBC for many years and TNT, for the last 4 years, going back and forth between television and radio. And I was in Vegas last night for TNT and here in Buffalo tonight. The biggest adjustments, and I was talking about it with Dave Maloney because it's an adjustment for him as well. He's done some games on television through the years, but not a heavy volume. From a play-by-play standpoint, first of all, you give the time and score a lot more on radio because the viewers can't see it up on the screen. You don't have to give it as much on the TV side. There's more time for the analyst to get in during play. You don't necessarily want the analyst to be yucking it up when the puck's in the offensive zone because if there's a scoring chance or a goal, you don't want to miss the call. But on radio, Don, as you know, for the last 20 years, while the puck's in action, on radio, the play-by-play person is pretty much calling the game for the entire time. Now, if there's an icing or if not a lot's going on in the neutral zone, you might pause and let the color analyst come in for 5 or 7 seconds. But on TV, there's more time for the analyst to come in, and it's a little more conversational than it is on the radio side. But on the radio, it's so much about description. Where's the puck? Near corner, far corner, left point, right point, center of the ice. You don't have to use a lot of those words on the TV side. So you definitely pull back as far as the call on television.
Well, Kenny, man, have a lot of fun. I'll be watching along with everything else. They took the first Devil game from me. They put it on ESPN Plus, so I got to wait for my first game until Tampa on Saturday and with all the football and stuff. But, best of luck, man. You've always been tremendous to me, and I appreciated all the help that you've ever given me. And unfortunately, I'm not going to see you until March because the NHL schedule decided let's keep the Devils and the Rangers away from each other until late in the season. So hopefully I'll see you way before then.
Well, we'll look forward to seeing you in March. And like I said, it was great being teammates for the last 20 years on the Rangers side and have worked so many Knicks games with Alan on the television side and had so much fun during each and every one of those as well. So keep up the great work with the show. Alan, have a great Knicks season. Don, have a great Devils season, and we'll see you along the way.
All right. Good luck tonight in Buffalo. Kenny Albert, the television voice of the New York Rangers, along with Dave Maloney. What they did was they blew up the television, the radio booth. Blew it up, all right? Because no Dave, no Kenny, no Don. But a new crop of people, and Alex Faust is doing a lot of the radio with it, and he'll fill in for Kenny on television because Kenny's got a lot of balls in the air. Yeah,
but we said this when it was announced, though. For Kenny, it's like he literally was preparing for this since he was a little kid, recording. He would watch the games on a tape, do it on a tape recorder in his bedroom and play it back. Like this is always what he wanted to do. So it's so cool to see that, just like it's cool to see. I don't get to do games with him, though, which I miss, because what he was saying about on TV, when you let the analyst get in a little more, the thing I loved about doing games with Kenny on TV, he let you go.
Yeah.
Kenny will let you go. If you got stuff, go.
Yeah.
It's great.
And also, congratulations to Alex Thomas. Alex Thomas is the Hartford announcer. He is going to be filling in for Alex, who's doing baseball, so he'll be on the radio call with Dave Starman, who does a great job covering hockey, and we love him, and he's now going to be replacing Dave in the radio booth. And Dan Grassa is still involved. He'll be doing the pregame coming up at 6:30. ENN is next here on ESPN New York.
But you know what, though? Before we get to ENN and everything else, everybody, I do want to tell you about my friends at Bath Fitter. I've told you about the bath that we updated in our house. It's now the bathroom everybody wants to use. The shower especially. This was an old tub. This was like this from the 90s bathroom. Disgusting. Nobody ever wanted to go in it. And we had the tub. They ripped the tub out. They do this, by the way. It's not just for you covering up your tub. You can have them rip out your tub and put in a shower, a gorgeous, full shower, glass doors, all the amenities, everything. It's beautiful. My sister liked it so much, guess what? She's having one done at her house as we speak right now. Bath Fitter's there doing a bath reno for her. And all you have to do is just talk to Bath Fitter. They bring a consultant. They take you through the whole process. They get a free in-home consultation. You could pick out style, color, all the specifics and accessories to update the bath. Customize it any way you want it. And Bath Fitter offers all types of custom bath renovations. They have the unique PermaFit solution. So you get a watertight fit, not like some cheesy bubbles that pop up after a couple of months. No. For years, this thing is looking gorgeous and clean and perfect. No money down, no payments, no interest for 18 months. No interest until April of 2027. So this is the time to get that project done that you've always wanted to do. You don't need to do the whole bathroom. Just get that bath updated. Bath Fitter is the way to go. Bath Fitter is the permanent solution, the leader in bathroom renovation. It's done in one day, durable and easy to clean, no demolition, lower cost than replacing the whole thing. Lifetime guarantee. That's right, lifetime guarantee. You can trust the Bath Fitter team like we did. So start designing your bath today at bathfitter.com because there's only one Bath Fitter.
Hey, this is Jalen Brunson. Jalen Brunson for three. And this is your home for New York Knicks basketball. This is 880 ESPN.
WHSQ and WCBS FM HD2, New York.
Now let's take a look at the traffic with Brandy Scott.
Thanks so much, guys. I hope you have a great rest of the night. We're going to start off in Jersey. Giants are hosting the Eagles over at MetLife Stadium, hitting the brakes on the Western Spur in both directions, heading into the Meadowlands. Route 3 westbound, a packed ride heading over to the stadium. Delays there, go back on to westbound 495. 208 southbound at a standstill heading into Fairlawn. Car fire right before Fairlawn Avenue. You're jammed and backed up into Wyckoff. Inbound George, really not too bad for both the upper and lower decks. No easy way to the outbound side, not even the Henry Hudson going to help you out. Cross Bronx westbound, solid from the Bruckner through to underneath the apartments. Outbound Lincoln going to run you an hour. Outbound Holland over an hour and a half. If you're heading over to MSG for preseason basketball, Knicks are hosting the Timberwolves. Definitely don't want to drive into Midtown. You're slammed on both the east and west sides. Mass transit going to be your best bet tonight. I'm Brandy Scott on 880 ESPN New York.
Every 40 seconds, a child is reported missing. That's 2,000 children every single day. It's a heart-wrenching reality that we can no longer ignore. Find the Children is a nonprofit organization dedicated to helping find missing kids. You can be a part of their mission by donating your unwanted vehicle, running or not. Call 1-800-294-0222. We guarantee that you will receive the maximum tax deduction. We provide fast, free pickup with 24-hour response. Call 1-800-294-0222. Find the Children provides crucial resources to help find missing children and educational materials to teach kids how to recognize and avoid predators. Our recovery programs have a proven track record of reuniting kids with their families. It's time to act. Donate your unwanted or unused car. Help us build a world where every child is safe. Pick up the phone and call 1-800-294-0222. Together, we can bring these kids home safely. This advertisement was paid for in partnership with Cars R Us and Find the Children.
This is an ENN Special Report. Now reporting.
The very handsome Jewish man, Peter Rosenberg.
We should talk some sports.
Do what you want. It's ENN.
Peter Rosenberg! 6:03 in the big city. Don, Hahn, and Rosenberg with you till the bottom of the hour. At that time, we're passing along to Dan Grassa and the Rangers pregame, Rangers and Sabres in Buffalo. So for as long as we have you for the rest of the week, it's Anthony Pusick with ENN. Always good.
That's my name. How we doing, everybody?
Great.
Oh, thank you, Griff. I appreciate that. You know, that reminds me, actually. I forgot yesterday because we had so much fun. It was very exciting. I forgot to give good evenings.
Wow.
We didn't do good evenings yesterday. So
What
really,
happened? What do you
Ian
think
didn't
happened?
have.
we jumped.
Gross incompetence.
We jumped right into something, didn't we?
We did. We jumped
had,
into a lot.
Immediate
We
conversation.
had a lot going on.
Yeah.
So let's start by saying good evening to Don.
You're going to trade Saquon Barkley? You're not trading Saquon Barkley.
Ron Scorsese on Saquon Barkley. Don.
Well, there's a pee-wee. Why wouldn't there be a wee-wee?
Callie via Alan Hahn.
The Jets are just sad. I should have recorded her saying it.
So a clean day for Allen, as you're saying.
Oh, no.
The Millennium Falcon.
Millennium Falcon. This is a piece of garbage, right?
How dare you?
Don.
These stormtroopers, they're all analytic regular season guys.
That was a great line.
And Don again.
Luke Skywalker was a postseason player. He was a dog.
Luke Skywalker's Ernie Clement.
I think a lot of the baseball / Star Wars fans really love the analogy.
It was a big day.
I can give a good analogy.
By the way,
I give good analogy.
It's gonna end up being one of the better videos that we've ever had.
But it really is funny when you think about it. The Death Star is the Yankees.
It is.
And the stupid photon phaser that blows the whole thing up is like the Blue Jays and the Rays every year.
I sort of get why they use the warning Death Star about to explode thing, because something big is about to happen, but you want your pitcher to you don't want it to implode. You want him to succeed. And then you got Luke using Darth Vader's breathing.
The breathing.
He's got that going on.
Yeah,
the Yankees are a strange thing because if I remember correctly, didn't Garrett Cole not like it?
Oh, he hates
right.
it.
So you give the guy $36 million a year, right? And he says he doesn't like it, and you still use it?
Now, the question is, and I don't remember this to be entirely true, did they stop using it for Cole?
I thought they did, but then they...
And the reason that we would say, how come we didn't hear it this year? How come we didn't notice it this year? Well, because he wasn't pitching.
Not there.
See, if George were here, not only would he get rid of the whole Death Star thing, he would fire the guy that came up with the idea.
I did notice this year, and Alan, I don't know if you noticed this, there is sound or music after every pitch.
Constant.
Every pitch.
Yeah, they've become the NBA.
We got a lot going on.
It's the NBA now.
We got to let it breathe a little bit.
No, you're not allowed to talk to anybody. Professional sports now, when you go live,
Nobody
no matter
asked
what
me,
it is.
but that's what I would do.
No, if you notice this, if you go with a friend, the old days, you would stop at your play. What do? We talk.
Mm-hmm.
You can't talk.
No.
It's too freaking loud. Everything now. Moving on.
It was like clap your hands. I just clapped my hands. You had me clap my hands last.
And you get it in Tampa, right? You get it in like hockey.
Yes.
There's certain arenas I understand
Places
they got the
that they're begging
cheerleaders
you
and
to
everything
cheer,
else.
right?
But not Yankee Stadium.
New York,
man. Really?
You need to be told what to do. The song where they go, everybody clap your hands.
Yeah.
Do I need to be told when to clap my hands? I'll tell you when it's time to cheer. I'll let you know when it's time to chant.
They do stop it after when it was 12-3 in some games. Is it
time to stop
I don't think
singing?
anybody needs to clap anymore. Some news out of Los Angeles, guys. LeBron James will be out for 3 to 4 weeks due to sciatica on his right side.
Oh, my sciatica.
He's 40, as we all know. He's missed the first 2 preseason games, yet to participate in a full practice because what Lakers coach J.J. Redick described as nerve irritation in his glute, which is what sciatica is.
Sciatica. When they say he has a sciatica, we all have sciatica.
We do.
We all have the nerve. It's just when it's inflamed.
But when Boone says he has an elbow, well, hopefully he's got 2. But yes, this one's a problem.
But if I'm LeBron, I'm like, don't call it that.
Yeah,
call it a hip.
But whenever
contusion.
the glute's involved, it's.
But don't say sciatica.
What do you say?
75-year-old men have. My sciatica's acting up. You don't want.
We got to get him to call Dr.
Sciatica. It's burning the ass out of me.
We got to call Dr. Jay Shah. Get him right.
Maybe he does.
Got to get him to Samwell.
Listen, if they're smart, they would do that.
Yeah.
Fly him out there, first class.
Just get him right to Shaw.
There's a office in Englewood now, right? Sir Bergen County.
You try to figure out which of the ones is the closest to L.A. Like this one.
Which one in Jersey is the closest, or at least closest to Newark?
Yeah.
Can we get the one closest to Newark Airport?
The closest to Newark.
There we go. Anyway, something else came out today, Alan. The annual NBA.com survey.
Yes.
All 30. I know.
The GMs.
I know, Don. All 30 of the league's front offices participated. Now, your team, the team that you that you work for, you cannot vote for them.
Can't vote for anybody or your team.
The highest percentage that anybody can get is 97% in any category.
Mm-hmm.
Who do you think they tapped to win the NBA? Who had the most votes to win the NBA championship?
Thunder repeat.
Yeah, I got to be.
That is correct. Mm-hmm. They were tapped to defend their title, with 80% of general managers across the NBA picking OKC for the second straight year.
Remember, we haven't had a repeat champion in a decade.
Can you name the other teams that got votes? There are 1, 2, 3, 4.
So who did the Thunder vote for?
Also receiving right.
Denver?
Denver did get a couple of votes.
Probably going to get some Denver. You're probably going to get some Cavs.
The Cavs also got a couple of votes.
You're going to get Knicks.
They got 1 vote.
1 vote?
And there's only one other team with 1 vote.
Rockets.
Yes.
Okay.
That's you guys. I mean, really. I don't even know what I'm doing here. This is unbelievable.
Because the Knicks are a heavy favorite to get to the final.
Oh, yeah.
Once you
apparently
get
the Cavs are, too, if they got multiple votes.
So we've got some interesting stuff out of the East then. So we've talked about who's going to win it all. Who's going to win the East?
Well, I'm going to, based on your answer, I'm going to go with Cavs are the favorite.
Okay, so Cleveland and New York were both unanimously selected to finish in the top 3 spots in the East.
Okay.
So they got 97%, and the Knicks didn't vote for themselves, and Cleveland didn't vote for themselves.
Okay.
The Cavs got 63% of the votes for first place, 27% for second, 7% for third.
Huh.
The Knicks got 30, 57, and 13.
So who's the other team?
So the Cavs are the favorite.
In the article that I read, it didn't mention who the third
Well,
team.
you just gave me the first place votes.
Yes, but Don said who's the third team.
Because they said
who's the third?
I didn't know.
Is it Detroit?
My guess is Orlando.
Ooh.
That's a sexy pick.
That is interesting. And then we got one more from this. Who did the GMs pick to be the MVP?
Shea. SGA.
No.
Then Jokic.
That's correct.
Yeah.
67% of the votes went to Nikola Jokic.
Yeah. Every year he's Aaron Judge.
Yeah.
Every year he'll be there.
And there is a vote. 83% of the votes a player GMs would want to pick to build their franchise around, start a franchise with. 83% of the votes went to this player.
83%?
83%.
Luka?
No.
SGA?
No.
Mm-mm.
Younger.
Oh. No. Cooper Flagg?
Nope.
No.
Not that young.
Oh, no.
Number 1 overall, though.
Oh, my God. Wembanyama.
There you go.
Oh, that makes
Second straight year that was the selection.
I've already forgotten that he exists until I see him again.
Trust
and then I'll
me.
be like, oh, my God.
You won't.
He grew, by the way. He's taller.
Oh, great.
No, seriously.
He didn't need that.
He's taller.
That's
He's
fantastic.
stupid.
Good for him.
I thought there was a second I couldn't see the sun. Wait a minute. So I called 7 games, and I'm one of them was a Spur game. So I'd be able to tell my grandkids I called a Wemby game. Right? That's going to age pretty well. You would think,
you
right?
Would hope so.
That is pretty good.
You would expect it to. It'll age better than like Sean Bradley. I would think.
Well, listen, Sean Bradley was in Space Jam.
He was.
All right.
That's not
true.
nothing.
And I don't remember me seeing Wemby in the second one.
He wasn't in Space Jam?
When they make Space Jam 7.
No, it was Space Jam 2, the ill-fated one with LeBron and his sciatica. He wasn't in that.
Yeah, but you know why? He was like, I'm all set.
He needs LeBron's special stuff.
He said, I'm good.
I'm not going to be in that.
Yeah. Guys, I don't know if you know this. The Jets are in London. Yes.
Left on Monday.
They left on Monday.
And Bart left on Tuesday.
And Jacob just...
Yeah.
I love what Jacob did.
Totally outed him.
Just outed him completely.
I'm disgusted. That whole thing.
See, I believe it is Carlin and Dan on Bart and Carlin tomorrow.
Huh.
From 10 to 1.
So Dan and Carlin.
Dan and Carlin.
And Carlin is, I believe...
On assignment.
In Washington.
Yes.
Because the Rutgers, I think, plays tomorrow night, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, you know, those Big Ten clashes.
Against the Huskies.
Against Washington. All the way in Washington.
Better to call Rutgers and the Huskies?
No, you're not. No, you're right. No, you were right to think that.
What Big Ten schools in D.C.?
However, now you're on the West Coast. So we got that going for us.
With the Georgetown football team?
I couldn't think of one.
On a version of that show with Bart, you would have heard from Garrett Wilson once upon a time. Alan remembers that very well.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Let's hear from him now. How are you handling being 0-5?
I think I'm handling it, as well as you can. It's obviously a tough thing to put so much into something and then not have a win to show for it at this point, right? That when you really break it down, all of a sudden it gets even it's a tough thought, when you think about the time and the hours and just the relationships that you have that we're not able to win together up to this point. But, the reality of it is we still got a lot in front of us and, a lot to prove. And in the stance of, this coaching staff didn't know me when they came in. This coaching staff, these fans, even to this day, like I got a lot to prove. And every week it's an opportunity. And I think thoughts like that are just keeping me good, man. I'm thankful for the opportunity to just go out and compete every week. And as long as that season still got some time at the end, I'm all right, man. I feel like I've said this to y'all before, but those hard times, it's not for nothing. I truly believe that. And thoughts like that are keeping me good, man. Focused on this goal at hand, and we're going to keep chopping.
You can see why.
This kid has lost a lot of football when he got to the NFL, and it sucks. But would you what would you say would be the best way to answer that? How are you handling 0-5? To say, I think I'm handling it well. I would. Wouldn't you rather say, I'm not handling it well at all? I hate it. It sucks.
It's a loaded question. I'm not faulting the reporter that asked.
No.
It's a legitimate question,
a good question,
but it is loaded in the sense.
But wouldn't you rather the answer? Like, how would you answer it, Don? Would you say I'm handling it well?
Because if I say that I'm handling it well, it sounds like I'm cool being 0-5.
Yeah.
If I say I'm not handling it well,
I'm pissed.
You can't handle adversity.
No, I don't.
So you got to find the answer is no. I'm red hot about being 0-5. I don't want to be 0-5, but I believe in my coach. I believe in the process that we're doing here, and we're going to change that. But I don't like losing.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, he could say I'm used to it. He didn't say that.
No,
but that's why I said when I listen to him answer it, he has talked so much about losing. He's almost like expert at it, which sucks.
No, and I tell you, it kills you.
I hate it.
It just ruins your confidence. And now I'm just wondering, I don't know if he's been asked this question, but the other question would be, do you regret re-upping here?
Signing that extension. Well, no, I mean, they brought in his guy, Justin Fields.
No, I think the answer would be no, I don't regret it.
Yeah.
But.
Yep. It'll make
tough.
the winning that much sweeter, Don, when it all
that's what they've
turns.
been saying for a long time.
This was interesting. We didn't get to it yesterday.
Why not? I want to know why.
Because, again,
that 4-hour show, what are we doing?
It really is a me thing. I didn't get to it. But Justin Fields was asked about, I believe he's one of it takes him the longest time to throw in the league, or it's he has the highest time to throw in the league. And they asked him about that stat, and he wasn't really interested in answering it.
I'm not sure. I don't really look at stats, if I'm being honest with you. I'm not on social media, so I have no idea. My job is to put as many points up on the board, whether that's the least amount of time to throw, whether that's the most. But if I'm being honest with you, that's not a good indicator, because you got guys that scramble and then they account that. So it's like, pocket passers are going to have the least time to throw because they scramble the least. I remember one of my years in Chicago, they said I had that longest time to throw too, but at the same time, I'm scrambling behind the line of scrimmage, so of course they're going to count that. So I don't think that's a credible stat, so to say, if I'm being honest with you.
Sensitive,
a part of the QB position.
Right?
Well,
sounds like he's faced this before. First of all, him going, I don't look at stats, and then he adds, I don't look at social media. Where did social media come from? So I don't look at stats.
I wouldn't think it's a social media stat. I would think it's just a stat.
But that's him knowing that he probably saw it on social media.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. He showed you he's very sensitive to this specific thing about his game, and he had, not only did he say, I don't really know, then he explained why. Well, you scramble around a lot, you're going to have the ball. Blah, blah, blah. So he's thought about this a ton, and it really bothers him.
Well, they asked his offensive coordinator, Tanner Engstrand, today, is Justin Fields holding on to the ball too long?
I think he's getting rid of the ball at the time in which the play is telling him to get rid of the ball. Again, I think we talked previously, if we're trying to push the ball down the field on a play action pass, when do they start the stop clock? That's going to take a little bit longer as opposed to throwing quick game and throwing a slant or throwing an out route. So when we want to try to utilize some of those plays, it is going to inherently take a little bit longer for him to get rid of the ball. But is he sitting back there and just hanging onto the ball in the pocket and drop back pass? I really don't believe he is. And he is correct. With the guys that can utilize their legs as a weapon, it is going to increase the time to throw a little bit at times.
Well, here's my question, because the law of averages, and we all know it, is that eventually, if you have a long one or short one, it'll eventually come out to somewhere in the middle. If he is on the farther end of he is taking longer than anybody else to throw, maybe they're right. Maybe it is that the play action passes are making him hold on to the ball longer. Does that mean that he's not in the pocket throwing at all? Is he never in the pocket?
Rarely.
Yeah.
Does anybody view that as an issue?
I wouldn't talk. See, to me, the stat that I have, the problem I have with him is not time, how long it takes him to throw a ball. It's accuracy.
Right.
That's it.
I don't care if he took 8 seconds to throw a football. His accuracy is my biggest concern. How many times he throws behind a receiver? How many times it's just off just enough for it to be difficult to catch or cost you yards after? That's overthrowing somebody that is wide open.
Mm-hmm.
Plays that worked, but because you missed the throw, it didn't work. That's the stuff that I'm concerned with, not how long he's holding the ball.
Steve Wilkes, D coordinator. How difficult is it at this point in the season for the defense to find answers?
The one thing that I've learned coaching for 30 years and being in the NFL for 20 is to respect this game, right? And what I mean by respecting the game, you respect the men and some teams women who put the time and effort in, coaches and players, and understanding that each week is its own entity, and we got to find a way, and we're still chopping wood. And the thing that coach talks about, which is repetitive in everybody's room, is just the consistency and the detail and the focus.
Yeah, I got to play. We can play this.
We've done a lot of great things.
Can we just stop with the cliches? Listen, I like Aaron Glenn, but we got to stop with the, big ships turn slow.
Chop wood, carry water.
Chopping wood. What's the other one, though? The Legos.
The thing I had
the chopping wood, the Rutgers uses that. Keep chopping.
Keep chopping. Have the axe and everything?
Not chopping wood. We're playing football. There's the problem right there. Listen, if I need a tree down, I'll call you, but I need to win a football game. So maybe stop chopping wood. I don't see any wood on the field.
Maybe stop, drop, and roll.
Maybe in London they have wood. Maybe I missed it. I missed it last week. Did they have wood on the field in London?
But like him talking about giving me the whole, how difficult. I love when they give the resume when they start a sentence. When they start giving you the resume, they know they're being questioned and they want to remind you how much experience they have. Well, somebody like me, it's been in the league for 20 years, been a head coach 3 years. Like when they do that, that's almost like letting you know. Like, I need to remind you my experience because clearly you don't respect me. And it's like, well, it's not that I don't respect you. Is that everything that your defense looks like is not respectable.
For the sake of Jet fans and us, all these coaches are preaching patience to us. I hope they're right. Because at some point, you would hope that this big ship turns.
Who do you think they're preaching patience to?
Themselves.
Woody. Yeah, no. Don. There's one guy.
Because it keeps coming up, man. Like I'm all for being patient. I think it'd be ridiculous to let him go after 1 year, but Woody's a wild card in this one. If he gets to the point where it gets really embarrassing, because there are some winnable games on the slate, right? They got Carolina coming up. You get to play Miami again in your own building.
Yep.
Like, will there get to be a point where Woody gets his fat hands on this? Or was this a collective, like, hey, guys, it's not going to be good. Just let it be. But I really believe the guy they're trying to convince more than anybody else, not the fans, not the media, not the players, Woody.
Eric Spoelstra of the Miami Heat will be the new head coach of USA men's basketball.
That's a nice position.
I like this.
That is a nice hire. And I'd be remiss with only a couple minutes to go.
What do you mean?
We are taking you to Rangers Sabres at the bottom of the hour with Dan Gross on the pregame.
They'll hold puck drop.
Yeah.
I think they'll hold puck drop, but I don't even want to ask about the Rangers here. Don, you're not on the game, but on ESPN Plus, the Devils are down in Carolina to take on the Hurricanes. What do you expect from the Devils tonight?
Well, 7 of their first 8 games were against playoff teams from last year. And the one that isn't is Columbus, that everybody loves as being a possible playoff team this year.
Yes.
Carolina and Tampa, take a look at the stats. They are not good against those two teams in those first 2 games. So we're going to find out right away.
Yep.
They're relatively healthy. Pesci, not 100%, but he's going to play tonight in Carolina against his old team. I like this team. I got to see a lot of them in training camp. I think if they stay healthy, Heischer and, of course, Hughes.
Dougie.
Dodonov was a great pickup. Dougie Hamilton on the power play.
He's got to stay healthy.
They had the best collective special teams in the league last year. So if they could do that, plus the additions offensively, I think Markstrom's a tremendous goaltender. I think this is I think they finished second in the division. I think Carolina still wins the division.
Carolina wins.
But they finish in second.
I like Ehlers on that Carolina team. I think at some point,
Andre Miller, I think, is a good addition for them too.
Yeah, I think he's going to be a good piece on that defense.
I love it. You're right about Ehlers. I like Ehlers.
I like Ehlers a lot. Allen, we saw Pittsburgh a couple days ago. Now the Islanders get to play them in their home opener. What are your? We talked off the air. What are your expectations for the Islanders? Not just for this game, but overall this season. Schaefer made the team. We didn't know if that was going to happen.
Should see him dressed tonight, which will be great. Just gonna get and everybody that has seen him play and has seen him behind the scenes, they all talk with. They think that he's going to be a Norris Trophy winner at some point. Like that he's got that kind of game feel for the game and all that stuff. So there's an excitement about what he can be, a little bit of future, but there's a lot of past on this roster still, especially on defense. And I just don't know what to expect. I don't have high expectations because it is the same group that kind of has been underachieving for the last 2 years.
So are you saying playoff is a possibility, or are you not?
It'll be like the last 2 years. Just like they'll probably knock on the door, and it all depends on, do they go through a doldrums, a slump? Do they have injuries that just hurt them throughout the middle of the season? They were an awful third-period team the last year especially. They just don't know how to close games. That all has to stop. So you're waiting to see, will the talent on this team have one more run in them, or are they going to stay country club and just be that team that is easy to play against too often, and it's really going to be more about the future with what they have going forward?
Not that anybody's interested, I do have a play tonight. I do.
Oh.
We don't have ice picks yet. We should soon, I would hope.
What I'm feeling.
Well, the season started. Why don't we have ice picks?
I don't know.
I'm waiting for a sponsor.
Maybe tomorrow.
Right. I have Minnesota St. Louis no goal first 10. I think I'm the only person that consistently.
He loves the no goal.
Well, first of all, they're usually plus money because if you look at it, a lot of the times before that probably around that first period break, that first break you get, you probably have a goal.
Yep.
So it's very often that I don't hit them, but the last 2 nights I've hit one. So why not tonight? Minnesota St. Louis no goal first 10. That is my play for tonight, and that's ENN.
Yeah,
that was very outstanding. I'm looking forward to it tomorrow. I'll be in Tampa.
That's exciting.
Alan is here.
I'm running to the Garden right now.
That's right.
You're headed to the Garden for the preseason game.
Yep.
Enjoy the Giants. Enjoy all the hockey. Enjoy all the baseball. Should be a lot of fun. Dan Gross is going to be coming up next for the pregame of the Rangers and the Sabres up in Buffalo. And again, I'll talk to you again tomorrow at 3 o'clock from Tampa right here on Don on Rosenberg, ESPN New York.
Is the Michael K. Show.
Why do they continue to fall short of their goal? And their goal is to win. And you can say, well, baseball happened. I get it. But you can't fall back on baseball happened for 16 straight years. With the resources